Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Soul Citizen. This is episode 18, where we're talking about CitizenCon 2016. Hope you got your snacks and your drinks ready, because this is going to be a bit long, over 2 hours. But before we get into the actual video, let's talk about our guests. First off, Colossal, to tell us about yourself.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kelosal, aka Colossal, aka Shoot First, Ask Questions Later. Glad you guys are on the stream tonight. First thing about me, in real life, I am an educator. I teach here in the grand old state of Florida. Pray for us. And other than that, I am a longtime fan of Chris Roberts, and I've been watching and playing Star Citizen, watching Star Citizen since 2012, playing it since 2015-16. So yeah, that's me.
And next we have Gigi, or theGreenEyedGyal. Hope I pronounced that right.
Something like that. Hi, everybody. I'm Gigi. I've been playing Star Citizen for about a year and a half now. I play a lot of MMOs, RPGs, and that kind of thing. Y'all seen me before, so what up?
And I almost forgot myself. I'm fastcart, also known as FC. I'm all over the place. You can find me. You search me up on Twitter. You can find me there. You can find whatever I'm up to. Colosso, I heard we had a survey this week. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we do have a survey. Our survey was, I believe, on our esteemed host and a fast card. And the survey is, and I'll bring it up a little bit later, but the question that I want to ask you guys right now, and those of you guys that are in the chat, welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and put this survey up to you all, and maybe you guys can go ahead and guess. So here's the question. The question is, which is not one of fastcart's titles? Which is not one of fastcart's titles? And here are your four choices. Your four choices are The Grinding Beast, Fudge of Chocolate, Writer of Plays, or Black Jurassic. Okay, I just wanted to put that up to you. We'll go ahead and come back to this later on in the show.
And y'all know, fastcart is a man of many names, so choose wisely.
Yeah, and I'll go into how I got some of those names at the end of the show also. So stay tuned for that. All right, so like I said earlier, hope you got your drinks and everything ready by now. This week it's about CitizenCon 2016. I went there. This is my first CitizenCon that I went to. It was in LA, California, obviously, in 2016. And I had a good time. I got more out of meeting the community there than the actual presentation itself. The presentation and everything was great, and I'm glad I went. But we had like bar citizens back to back to back and everything like that. Just meeting everyone was great. How about you, Colossal?
Unfortunately, I did not go to this one, but I do get to have a little bit of some bit of claim to fame. I was telling Fastcart earlier, this is the first time that I saw Fastcart without having to meet Fastcart on the video, because he happened to show up on the video, and I thought what he talked about was pretty inspirational to me. You know, as a teacher, we get very, very soft when we see things that our kids go through in life and things like that. And I thought how Star Citizen and other software programs, how they helped fastcart move through with the game. I thought that was very inspirational to me. So that was the very first time that I actually saw fastcart. Now I did see him in person without meeting him in Austin, and 2 years ago in CitizenCon, was it 2948, I believe, or 2829? Yes. So I saw him there and several other people. So I was amazed. But I remember this CitizenCon very, very well, because it had some things that it promised us and did not live up to it. But I can't wait till we talk about this.
And Gigi, you have no experience and no knowledge whatsoever. This will be fresh for you, correct?
Yes, it will. I was actually supposed to go to CitizenCon this year. It was going to be my very first CitizenCon.
I think everyone
my
was.
Plane tickets and everything, and the Rona. So no CitizenCon for me, but that's okay. I'd rather be safe, and hopefully next year I'll get my opportunity. All
Yeah, I
things
think
considered.
I think that goes for a lot of people. We'd rather be safe than sorry. So
Yeah.
folks, just stay safe out there, please. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start the video.
Good afternoon to everyone here. If you're here at the show and you happen to see Nick Elms after the show, please buy him a drink. Good afternoon to everyone online, or good evening, or good morning tomorrow. I think that about covers everybody, seeing as we have everybody across the globe. Thank you all for joining us here, and welcome to CitizenCon 2016. CitizenCon is essentially a celebration of all of you together, essentially all of us, and what a shared group of people with like-minded people can achieve. The seemingly impossible, we make it possible. So here is a video that highlights our journey so far.
My
like her
name
dress.
is Chris
That was
Roberts,
pretty.
and I would like to build a universe with you.
And before even the campaign, before even Chris's
Oh,
GDC
the
announcement,
we're taking questions.
he had
get
this
the
idea
questions
of like
then go.
wanting to create a place, because he knew that there was going to be a long time in development from the crowdfunding to the actual release of the game. And so, foundationally, very early on, wanted a place for the backers and the fans of Space Sims to be able to get together and talk and share stories about games that they love and talk about stuff. The haven, to find kindred spirits who share the same love.
The Star Citizen community means, pretty much everything to me. That was why I got involved in this project. And it's what energizes me, everyone I work with, I think everyone in the company.
I really always wanted to build a game that sort of put me in one of these worlds and let me adventure, but I wanted it to be in a way that I sort of went around and really felt like I was in the world. And so up until then, that was sort of the things that I sort of felt had been missing from a lot of games.
Chris had this really big vision for a big world, and so while he was still creating that, we were creating the community website, and we were interacting with all of you guys, and it just kept building and building.
The community that Star Citizen has developed over the past 4 years has devoted thousands of hours into making sure that Star Citizen becomes the best game it can possibly be.
It really proves what we can achieve without a publisher.
You've got that brilliant, immediate communication, back and forth.
The backers and the subscribers are with us, so they're not in studio with us, but we really feel that they're with us.
And it's been fantastic. It shapes what we're doing every day. People look at it, take note of it, and everybody's opinion matters.
We read the forums, we read the comments, and that feedback is also felt.
Just from them playing, that's giving us a tremendous amount of information.
You're sort of sharing stuff almost daily and getting feedback, and you're riffing off what people are sort of responding to. And I think there's an energy that comes with it. They're waiting for cool stuff from you. Their hopes and dreams are with you, and you kind of want to not let them down.
We just want to make the best game we can. We want to make something which has never been made before, and we're not prepared to compromise that vision.
This is the fourth CitizenCon since we launched in 2012, and it's quite a great opportunity to reflect for a second how far we have come. We started out with 12 people, Chris, Sandy, myself, Ben, and a few other volunteers. After adding Los Angeles and Austin, really ramping it up in 13, we added Manchester in 14, we added Frankfurt in 15, and now we are at 360 developers and support staff in all these locations, all thanks to the community having given us this incredible opportunity. I'm not aware of any other area, whether it's in
Austin
games or elsewhere,
and
where this has
everything
been
else
done,
combined
where,
still does not have
organization
more
like this could be
workers than
built
Frankfurt, or I'm sorry, Manchester.
on the basis of this fan and community support, and it's just absolutely great.
We do events with the community all the time. Backers are there, they're hanging out with us. They're telling us how excited they are about what they've just played, how excited they are about the work we've just done, how excited they are about work that they've seen partway in development, right? That's all stuff that the team gets energized and pumped up about.
At Gamescom this year, on the show floor in the convention, we had hundreds of thousands of people over the course of the week come and see us, and we were exposed to that. And we had people lining up for 2 hours at times just to play Arena Commander, see what was already playable in the game.
There's people all around the country and the world that I would not have had the luxury of meeting and befriending if it wasn't for Star Citizen.
As I followed the game and as I brought it into my streaming career and got to meet the community, all of it just kind of kept snowballing.
To me, it's amazing how many people are still around.
Freedom from publishers.
Yeah, I was wondering, if anybody's going to take a poll on this one, how many of these people are still around?
Universe they have been watching.
Quite a few.
SQUADRON, it's a fantastic community, and that really is what this is about. We're just a small slice of the greater Star Citizen community.
Once they started being able to walk around, I think they started to really recognize the possibilities of what was happening.
Star Citizen is a chance to finally get to be an astronaut without having to be good at math.
I decided to try out racing tech, I think with the Mustang Gamma, and I played one-handed, so I had to use voice.
I forgot about the joint.
And it took me a while to get used to it, but eventually, like by the 5th or 6th lap, I was getting the hang of it, and it was really enjoyable. So I'm really happy that Star Citizen allowed people like me to enjoy the game.
We got into a 20-minute dogfight until he was too damaged, and I ended up chasing this guy to about 3 different comrades before he went to Port Olazar. And since it was a neutral zone, the only way to get the kill, I went blades out and went for the ram.
Actually, took off on a few different ships and
you know what? I never got any
moon, and it was actually kind of cool
promos or
seeing
any
the dark side
sponsorship
of the
from Game
moon.
Rest
But also
before
when
they
we
went
cruised around
under.
and we slowly saw the sun just coming across the horizon, and to me that was kind of a really beautiful moment.
fastcart with the shade.
Typically in development, us devs were locked in a room for building for years, right? Without much visibility, without much feedback on really what we're doing. With Star Citizen, we're so open with the community and forward-facing. They see what we do. To get that feedback from people, to get the appreciation of the work and the effort that we're putting in, that in return drives the team.
They show us the good
Well,
and
here's
the
the question.
bad in
If you were to
game
translate
development. We've
his
never
hair to
seen
my
that
head,
before,
do
and
you think that would look
continue
good?
to push
Or
the boundaries of the game.
Freedom with
They might call you the Black Jesus. You never know. You didn't.
setting goals and deadlines. It means that we
Hey, that's actually one of my titles.
Oh goodness! Of course
We're
it
always
is.
striving to build new tools so that the community can
Hint, hint,
communicate
survey
and
coming up
share
soon.
their feedback and ideas so that we can incorporate it into the game.
Issue Council is a tool that we created to allow our community to not just submit bugs, but ultimately make Star Citizen better. With the scope and the size of this game, we don't just value the bugs submitted
Marine
from our
DI,
vendors.
thank you for the follow.
Sometimes they even show up with Mark Bug Smasher
Thank you.
event.
Welcome to Bug Smashers. You ready to smash a bug?
Pizio, thanks for the follow.
All of us who back this game know that CIG and Chris are doing something special here.
Because the community supports us, we're able to make excellent shows like Around the Verse.
Welcome to episode 100 of Around the Verse.
Just as a little highlight for you guys, we're going to
pretty
take a
good,
brief look at the
Boku.
Bengal.
How
It's
are
the
you?
first ship that Chris revealed for Squadron 42.
Lore makers, etc. Just to show you not just how we're making this game, but kind of dig a little bit more inside of what it takes.
One of my favorite fan video editors, a gentleman named Years100, created the Imagine trailer. He took all of our videos, he cut them together in new and exciting ways. It's one of my favorite ways that the community
remember
has
that.
influenced not
Let me see if I
just
can
the
look that up
development
and
of our
post
game,
it.
but the development of our game presentation.
Welcome to the next great starship.
The Next Great Starship was a show that
That's right,
we
Chip.
put
You did
together
know his
because
stuff.
they actually wanted to get involved and make a ship for Star Citizen. So these great pieces that not only got integrated into our game, but also into our team. We have some of the guys from Next Great Starship are actually on our team today, continuing to push the envelope on every spaceship you see that goes into Star Citizen.
Star Citizen is a dream that thousands and thousands of people across the world share.
The most immersive and diverse space game ever created. A game that can change the way we think about gaming in general.
Everyone has given their thoughts, everyone has given their ideas, and everyone is so friendly.
I would like to thank all of you guys, everyone, potential backers, fans, everyone for the incredible amount of support, because we couldn't have done it without you.
I want to thank the community. You have made this job so rewarding. You have made Star Citizen so much better.
When Star Citizen launches properly, like what someone would consider a commercial
biggest
release,
cheerleaders.
we're actually, by the time we get there, we know we're going to have millions of people there excited to play and be part of it. And I think that's a massive benefit of being open and doing what we do.
Star Citizen is and always will be more than a AAA game, so much more. Please raise your hand if you have made at least one heartfelt connection with another human being while being part of this project in any shape or form. Please give up a smile for one memory on Star Citizen that has absolutely made your day.
I am a Star Citizen.
I am a Star Citizen.
I'm a Star Citizen.
I'm a Star Citizen.
I'm a Star Citizen.
I'm a Star Citizen.
We are Star Citizens.
I am a Star Citizen.
And I'm proud to call myself a Star Citizen.
Hercules.
It's an amazing journey that we've been on, and it's only going to continue. That reminds me from last year, and I had a bit of a rough time, and I also had a bit of a rough time this year, and I would personally like to thank, I'm going to cry again, God damn it. I would personally like to thank all of the community, because if it weren't for you all, I don't know how I could do my job.
I didn't even know her then, and I don't even know her now, but just looking at that, I was rooting for whatever hardship she was going through. You don't wish that on anybody.
I think I've mentioned this before, but it is the first gaming community that I've ever been a part of, and I'm biased to say that it's the best gaming community ever. Okay. And now my mind's gone completely blank. I would like to give a shout out to Rico for creating barcitizen.sc. I remember earlier in the year, Alexis and I sat around and I said, I really want to, because there's 1,000 people here, but we have hundreds of thousands of fans all over the world in every single country.
Was his name the name that was
Alexis and I
used
came up
for
with Bar Citizen. And
the character in Area 18?
Because, we had so many. And Frankfurt, give it up for Frankfurt. They had like 200 and something people
I'm not sure if it
respond. So we had to do 3 Bar Citizens.
I think he got it before
so
that.
Rico has created barcitizen.sc. Within 3 weeks, we've already had 27 Bar Citizens around the world. Some of them going on tonight. So if you'd like to attend one of those or host your own so that everybody around the world can hang out together, then check that out. Okay. Sorry. In other community news, the referral program that we launched last year, we've actually had 2 fans who have got 1,042 new backers into the game. And both of them receive a Million Mile High Club that they can invite their friends to. The first one, I think we mentioned him last year at the live stream. His name is AlphaCast, and he's from France. And then the other one, Schwimmy, is from the USA. So give it up for those 2.
I'm still stuck at 4.
Before I hand over to Chris, I would like to thank all of our volunteers. Where are our volunteers? Can you raise your hands? All of our streamers who have been streaming for the past 3 days, where are you? And then an appreciation for all of our staff who have been working around the clock. Chris, would come home pretty much most nights this week at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd ask him how it's going. So, yes, exactly. So props to all of our staffs and our contractors from around the world. Your support, and support from all of you fans basically encourages us to keep raising the bar. And so now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Chris Roberts.
So, really, I should applaud you. I mean, we made that video for you guys because that is genuinely the way that everybody at any one of our studios and everyone that is at partners like Behavior or
This is from
Turbulent feel,
2016,
because
Chip.
we would not be here, we would not have the opportunity of building the game we are, pushing the boundaries we are without everyone that's in this community, in this room, that's in the community around the world.
2946.
So, you know, I mean, I'm a Star Citizen, and thank you guys so much, because you guys are fucking awesome. I love you guys, and I'm pretty sure everyone else that's working on this game loves you guys. So you are our secret sauce. You are what makes us go.
We're getting
you
some
make
echo
it
from you.
easy to work hard because you know there's a massive amount of people out there that love and are excited by what you're doing. And that is, if anyone does anything creative or actually doing anything, that is really important, and you give us that. So thank you so much for that. Anyway. So as a bit of a reflection, because you know, I look back. I mean, sometimes you're so busy working, and you know, just what are we doing tomorrow? What are we doing tomorrow? You don't ever get a chance to go and say, you know what?
You're
It's
still getting echo.
amazing what we've achieved already during the past 4 years, and you know, what we're going to do in the future is going to be even better. But I mean, just I look back on it, and you know, I look at that video, and I go, you know, this is incredible. I mean, we have such an amazing community. We've built so many. There's so many connections being built. There's a lot of. I mean, people are playing games now. They're streaming now. I mean, it's just a fraction of what's going to be in the final game. But you know, I keep like reading stuff online and seeing these YouTube videos or seeing Twitch streams, and I'm going, wow, that looks cool. And
It's
can't
amazing
believe
how
that
much
all these
different he
people,
looked
like,
from 2012 to
spent,
2013
you know,
just
an
in
hour
1 year.
trying to find someone stranded on the far side of a moon somewhere or an asteroid field. And generally, like most gaming communities tend to sort of like shoot each other and troll each other. And I know we have a little bit of that in our community, but I think I would say more often than not we have a community that helps each other out, and you know, they help each other play the game, understand the game. I mean, they do a much better. You guys do a much better job than us in terms of actually like educating on how to play the game. We're going to get better at that. But we're busy building sort of some of the core tech and everything. But because of you guys, we've sort of grown. So looking back at it, if you take a look at it here, I mean, this is sort of a timeline we thought it'd be interesting to lay out. You know, obviously we launched 4 years ago tomorrow, you know, back in October of 2012. I look a little younger there, by the way. It's a little bit like the U.S. presidency, I think. You sort of age a lot as you get into it.
8 years later, huh? 4 years later, which is
and
8
so, you
years.
know, you know, obviously
Wow.
we got the money,
Goodness.
but then you've got to get the offices and start hiring people. So our first office opened in January of 2013 in Austin, and I think we started with 11 or 12 or 13 people. Then we opened the LA offices in April of that year, where we had, I think, about 5 or 6 people. We managed to get the Hangar module out in 2013, which was actually quite an achievement, considering we were still just opening offices and had a very small number of people. But that was, you know, the GamesCon at, you know, 2013, which I think would always be a very special memory for me, because it was our sort of first event with all you guys in person, and it was pretty amazing. But, you know, at the end of 2013, we had 48 people, which is a lot less than we have now. Let's see if it moves. I know. Eric, I don't know why it's not moving. Yeah, red one, there you go. Okay.
Never fails.
So, you know, and then we're lucky enough to have my brother and some other key, you know, old friend. I mean, I have, you know, Nick Elms, who was working on this presentation, who's our creative director of Foundry 42. So Nick and myself and my brother and Phil Meller all grew up together, and then there's a few other key members of Foundry 42 that are here that we've known for years. We worked on Star Lancer together. So, you know, for instance, Derek Sr. and later on Paul Jones, and they're all here around the audience. So get a drink with them later on. But we opened Magic. We're very lucky to have them come aboard in January, and it was mostly because of your guys' support that I felt comfortable enough to go to my brother, who was
he was at Traveler's Tales making Lego games, doing really well, and they all had very safe, secure jobs in big corporate America. And I said, hey, you want to come and do something a bit more risky, but potentially more fun? And they said, well, there's only so many years you can make Lego games. And I was lucky enough to get him aboard. So we worked really hard to get the Arena Commander out that year, which was a combination between the UK team coming on board and the US teams working on it. And by the end of 2014, we had 161 people. So that's from 48 to 161 is pretty big. And we got 1.0 out by December of that year, which had a whole bunch of ships. And like I said, the dogfight model was out in the middle of June. And we started to do the first performance capture for Soundry 42 in April of 2015. Let's see if this will advance now. Oops, hang on. Well, that's the TV screen. It's not advancing for some. What's going on? There we go. All right, they've advanced it. I think they're advancing it up in the booth, and I'm not advancing it.
Absolutely.
I don't know why the advance key's not working, but the switch the screen key works for some reason. So anyway, and then in 2015, besides shooting Squadron 42, we got the Frankfurt office, and they've made massive contributions. You are actually going to see a lot of some of the core work they've done. We've got an incredibly talented team there. We have Brian Chambers representing from Frankfurt here. So if you see him with his kind of rocker hair hanging out, he's as cool in person as he looks. We got 2.0 out at the end of last year, which was a huge milestone because that had the 64-bit large world, multi-crew ships, and a lot of the beginnings of the core tech that's going to power Star Citizen. The end of last year, we had 258 people, again, because of you guys. And interesting enough, Manchester, so our Foundry 42 officers become the biggest and still ends up being. Then of June of this year, we got 2.4 out, which is the first iteration of Star Citizen Alpha that has some level of persistence, and that is just going to increase as we go on. So your character will keep and keep his items and eventually sort of get wear and tear and grow old and all the rest of the stuff. So that'll be very cool. And we launched 2.5, which had sort of an extra sort of spawning area, Grim Hex, which I hear a lot of people camp out and shoot people when they try to get out of it at the moment in August. So you got Outlaw and good guys. All right, let me try to see if this is gonna move. Eric, can you advance that, please? Help me, save me. There you go. So today we have 363 people, which is an amazing amount. I know. So those are the numbers split between the places. This is all because of you. We are entirely crowdfunded.
Isn't it like
and it's your
600
guys'
now or
enthusiasm
800,
and
something
support
like
and everyone
that?
out
Some
there that's
insane
watching
number?
this and everyone
Like
watching
60,
that are
maybe
enabling us
600.
to basically build
Yeah.
this game of definitely my dreams. I think most of the developers working on it, and I'm pretty confident your guys' dreams, in a way that we're unfettered and we're trying to
even Austin,
just
Los
go for
Angeles,
it.
and Frankfurt
I mean,
combined still
to
doesn't
quote
reach
Shia
the
LaBeouf,
size of
which I'm-
Manchester. At
Just
that
do
time.
it!
I forgot about the move.
Sorry, I saw that video recently when we were getting our CitizenCon stuff and thought it was quite amusing. Yeah, I'll refer. I won't do the rest of this stuff where you get kind of a bit crazy and look around. But anyway, but that's because of you guys. And I think that I said that when I started this. The community is the core of what makes Star Citizen go. It's what makes us special. It's in the DNA from the very, very beginning of the project. You saw in the video, Dave Haddock, who's been with us from the very beginning. Before we even announced Star Citizen and Squadron 42, we started with a website which was basically, hey, if you love space games, you love PC games, at that time, no one was paying any attention to that. No one cared about it. Now, obviously, if you take a look, everyone's doing it. It's trendy now. You're a AAA game. Hell, they're doing a Call of Duty that's set in space. So, it's like we've become mainstream. But back then there wasn't, and we said, it was basically just, I miss this kind of game. I love it. That's the game I used to make, and I sort of felt like, well, that was the whole impetus of Star Citizen, and we And we started with saying, well, you know, it's about the people. And I look back on it, and I looked at what I saw with WC News and the fact that there was still a community that, you know, was passionate about Wing Commander long, long, long after the last real Wing Commander game had sort of come out. I mean, it's, you know, it's sort of a dormant property sitting at EA. And I was like, you know, I love this stuff. I think other people love this stuff. And we started with a site, and, you know, we had 30,000 people sign up before we had even announced Star Citizen, and, you know, 10,000 on the first day, which was amazing. But the key was that the DNA of the project started with the community, and from day one, we've always tried to do that. And I think if you look at where we are and what we're able to do, I think that is 100% due to the community. And so one of the segue for that would be here. Oh, that's finally suddenly one, unless Eric's really good at hitting a button when I hit a button. You guys have always been in the community, right? You make what makes it special. And it's a very different way, I think, to make games. And we've always focused on creating tools to do that. So, you know, like even where we couldn't have friends or you getting together necessarily in the game, we created organizations for the website and ways that people can be discussing on forums and chatting and all the rest of the stuff. And it's important to us to have the ability for you to not only interact in the game, but also interact outside the game and create connections. And I think you could see from the video, and I know you guys all have stories. I mean, I'm amazed. I see everyone with their organization. Everyone's got their own organization custom shirt, and you know, and they get their own get-togethers, and, you know, there's deep lore and history behind a lot of stuff. And I mean, I'm just blown away by it, and I think it's fantastic, and I think it's really key. So for us, it's very important to put the tools in the hands for you guys. So, Eric, I'm pressing a button. Make me look good. No, that's not the right one. All right, back. All right, okay. So I guess there's in the. I thought I had one more card here, but I don't.
I wonder why each and every year he has a problem with that clicker. He's probably got one of those clickers that says you can't be no more than 50 feet away from
so I'm going to.
I have no idea. It's a Star Citizen tradition now.
It's like he just has to
you know,
screw up his
I had a lot of
clicker.
questions
It's not right if he doesn't.
about what's happening with Organization 2.0, and there's a lot of different stuff. So we've actually thought about it long and hard, and we sort of decided that
He's not wrong.
Even though we said we were going to do this thing
at
in
all.
typical Star Citizen fashion, we need to do this thing. And we want to make sure that we give you guys tools in such a way that you'll be able to interact and communicate in-game, out-of-game, in a sort of fluid way that is very indicative of today's modern internet age. So I'm going to hand you over to John Erskine, who's our VP of Online Operations and Publishing, and Benoit, who is the Chief Technical Officer of Turbulent, who you know, are amazing. They build our web platform. They're nominated for an award for the Adobe Cutting Edge Award, and you guys should all vote for them. But I'm going to hand you over to them, and they're going to tell you about what we have in the works for you guys on the community front. Here we go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mentioned there was a lot of hype about Squadron 42.
Well, hey, it's really a thrill to be here with you today. It's exciting to be
When I saw that comment, I felt it in my soul.
CitizenCon
Colosal was
event.
going to have something to say about
We're going to
Squadron
switch
42.
over to some other slides here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we've been
I just
doing
want to be on record.
the
I'm fine
platform
with them
side.
not showing
I'm
a
going to
trailer
continue with
this
the
year.
theme that we've begun here today to talk about
this year or that year?
engagement and sharing.
Oh, this year.
If we look at the vision that we have on our platform, as Chris mentioned, this is something that's been core to the concept of Star Citizen even before the project was formally announced. We want to share this experience with you, and we want to share content to you, and we want to get feedback from you. And so this idea of connecting with our community and then allowing communities to connect with
I mean, the last
each
time
other
they did a trailer was a Bishop speech,
literally
and that
the
was
core
2015, and they put it
of Star Citizen.
2016 at the end
And
of the trailer.
I have to
so
tell you
I think
personally,
they learned
it's
their lesson.
really amazing to work with someone like Chris, who understands this in the core of his DNA, because I have worked at other companies where you'd have to pitch these kinds of ideas to somebody who might be kind of skeptical, really. With Chris, a lot of times it's the other way around. We may sort of come with some ideas and he'll say, well, guys, I don't think you're thinking big enough here. So I'm going to share an example of that with you today. Our goal from the platform is to be able for you to experience the game. You need to be able to do basic things like get the game and buy the game and download the game and patch the game. But we also want you to be able to connect with other people, both inside the game itself, but also in the real world. Because as we look at how technology is moved today, there's less of a distinction between the virtual world and the real world, and every day those walls are coming down further and further. So that's really a core vision that we have on the platform. So we've had the opportunity already to build some really cool and revolutionary tools on our platform, and we've shared them with the community of Star Citizen. We have some traditional things like forums. You know, forums have been around for a long time. We've been able to build some things that we believe advance traditional things, like, you know, most online games have some sort of guild and grouping system, and we have our organization system. I think it's unique that we released the organization system so early in the development process, and people were able to create organizations almost 3 years ago, I believe, maybe 2.5 years ago. And I have some stats on the next slide, but we have an amazing number of people and an amazing number of organizations already. We've been able to build things like the community hub, so it's easy to share content on our site. We've been able to do things in the game, like
we don't believe
having
those
the
things,
rental
though. We know
system
better.
and being able to use your UEC to do
Does
things in
anybody
the
believe
game.
those things? I'm
And
new
we've been
and I
able
don't
to do
believe
some
those
things
things.
that are really
No.
unique, like the issue council, where people are able to actually actively participate in the process of reporting bugs and verifying bugs and prioritizing bugs and doing all that. And I know from talking with other developers, they're very jealous of the system because, first of all, they don't have the technical piece, and second, most people don't have fans who care enough to actually be that involved. So I think that's a very revolutionary tool that we've already built. So thank you for your involvement there. We had some stats in the video, but I'll come back to a couple of these to talk about engagement. You know, on our forums today, which are pretty traditional forums, we've had almost 500,000 unique threads. We've had 7 million people actually write a comment to those threads, and 300 million views of those threads. Those are incredible numbers. It's a huge community, and it's a huge amount of engagement.
Just not quite
And in the organization system, as you can see, we have more than 40,000, or almost more than 40,000 organizations today, which is staggering. And almost 200,000 unique people are members of organizations, and many people are members of more than one organization. So it's very, very interesting, and it's a very, very, very powerful message that people are incredibly engaged in the tools that we've built. So, you know, last year at CitizenCon, we announced and launched the Star Map, which was, yeah, super cool. And like I said, that was a good example of how we sort of gave people an opportunity to vote on things that they thought were the biggest priority. And we had some ideas about what we wanted to build. And Star Map wasn't necessarily at the top of our list, but it was at the top of your list. And so we changed some of our priorities around, and we came up with a plan, and then we found out that we weren't thinking big enough. So we made something that's very, very revolutionary to be able to have such an amazing tool on the web to explore the game universe in such visual fidelity. And so after we launched the Star Map, Benoit and I started looking more at our roadmap and our priorities to decide what we should do next. And we had some ideas about an evolutionary advancement to some of the systems that we have today. And in January, we presented some of our plans to Chris. We really liked the plans. And we talked about it more with Chris, and he said, well, I don't think you're thinking nearly big enough. And so we went away and we sort of digested this feedback, and Benoit and I started to think, well, with this much blank canvas, what would we do? And so I'm thrilled to turn it over to Benoit today, and he's going to tell you what we've been working on since the second pitch to Chris.
Now, have we seen him since
Hello.
then?
This is the second time Chris does this to me, and I need to come in front of you guys to show you what we're working on. I'm pretty excited to be able to show you what we came up with.
I don't think he was there at CitizenCon in 2018, but I remember him seeing another Inside Star Citizen
when
and
we
stuff like that.
presented Orgs 2.1 to Chris, which was basically a new forum system for your guild, we quickly saw that the feature set that we needed to be way bigger than just a traditional
might still
form
be
engine.
equivalent, we just don't know.
Also, we didn't want to just
Fun
build
to
a
find
form
out.
engine for the sake of it, which is, it's still a pretty old medium. So we wanted to basically start reinventing that. You can switch. And so we came up with Spectrum. The name was coined just as naturally as that because we felt that it represented that it was already in the lore, and so it was the perfect way to sort of name this tool. And so what Spectrum is a real-time web application that offers all community communications in Star Citizen. So that's the high level.
Wouldn't be an educator if I
Now, to
didn't.
present it, I need to deepen into it. Now, this is the result of almost a year of work and labor of love from the Turbulent team, who's been iterating and iterating on that, looking at what's already there. And this is what we came up with. And so it's modeled after contemporary communication platforms. I'm sure you guys use many of those. And so we did not start to reinvent things from the ground up. We really took something and tried to make it as usable as possible based on what existed. We used modern technologies to build it. That means we did not go the classic route of building an application in a low-level language. We went with web technologies that can now be on the desktop, that can allow for rapid development, which was already a groundbreaking moment to be able to change the stack and go faster. And then when we pitched the idea, it came really quickly that this tool could
By the way, if you folks are interested,
solve a major
this
problem
is
in the game.
on the
which was,
RSI Art
how do we differentiate
Galactopedia.
between in fiction and out of fiction? We want to bring you guys, like your friends at work, you want to be able to talk to him. How do we differentiate between that and
what
somebody who's
Spectrum
actually in the
is and
game?
what it's supposed to
And
have-
so
supposed to
Spectrum
do in the game.
becomes the natural conduit for that. Now, focus on usability. It's the in-game UIs will always be focused on being diegetic and super sci-fi-ish. Now, in order to make the real world stuff really works, then we need something that's more usable, material design, and it needs to focus on that first, and community. And that was the sticking point, is that since the beginning, the vision from Chris was always that you don't need to run your guild off-site. You don't need to run your organization off-site and use off-site tool. We can offer all of these tools in the platform, and so you can just hit the ground running. And so we want you to be able to have your home in the Spectrum as your organization and be able to customize it. And so the first part of the module is, of course, chat. And so if we're going to hit chat running, we're not going to build a standard chat like we did a few years ago for the live chat module. We need a rich chat. We need an application that's real time. We need a chat where you can embed medias from external sites or from RSI sources. We need you to be able to react to comments and words that are being written by your friends or by your coworkers or anybody you're playing a game with. And so just on the
Better
chat
be able to do a
level,
whole lot more than
we
chat.
really wanted to get something that was modern and usable. Now, in terms of form engine, we needed forums. We knew we needed that. We didn't want to abandon this medium, which was so crucial to building this community. And so, but we wanted to modernize it. And so in the same application, we're going to bring you guys some brand new forums. Now, what you're looking at now, and I'll show you a bit later, is the light team. And this is part of why we wanted to focus on usability first, because if we make everything dark, it's really difficult to use and it gets a strain on people using it. So there is an option to keep it light, and that's what I'm showing here. And so The forum engine is also real time. When new threads come up, you're going to see notifications come in.
There's a lot of other stuff
it's a
like
brand modern
Discord
take
or
on this,
Gilded
on how
and stuff like
forums
that
can
around.
be rapid
It's tough to
and
have a
fast and not the old school model
tough
that
to
we've had.
put out stuff like that when they already had
Now,
competition.
to go further than that,
'cause they want to
we
do
need more
something
types of
better or
discussions in the forum.
improved a lot
We
of
need to be able
times,
to
and
have
that's just hard to
Q&As.
do.
We need to be able to have
Yeah,
live
but I
threads
was
on
hoping
live
they would
topics that are
integrate
happening
this
now,
in the actual
and
game
of course,
itself.
classic threads,
Yeah.
which will
And
just,
I see some signs
stay
of
there
it
forever.
because if you looked at this new recent build they put out with the
And so what is
when you go
Spectrum?
into the main menu, everybody's
Well,
you're able
first, it's
to set
private
up your
messaging
friends and
chat
group
and
up
forums. And so
at the
we
main
needed
menu
to solve
using
private
the
messaging
Spectrum
because I'm sure you guys have used the private
interface. So
messaging on the forums
that part
currently.
is in game.
Everybody's
But
pretty
I'm
much in
hoping they
agreement
can
there.
actually put a
We
lot
need a
more
private
in it.
messaging solution, and so Spectrum implements that. We needed presence, and so to be able to tell online if your friends are in the game, or even just in Spectrum, so we needed to be able to have presence displayed on there. Notifications and alert. So if you're watching a thread, you wrote a thread, somebody mentions, you need to be able to know about that. That encourages this flow of information across the board, and so notifications were core to that.
Sometimes I get an
Of
alert
course,
from
all of these features,
Spectrum, and I have no
they're
idea
awesome.
where it's from because I have so
But
many tabs and stuff open.
They need to be
I don't recognize
sandboxed.
the sound.
And so for each of your orgs in Spectrum, you will have access to all those features. And so as you build up your organization, you'll have access directly to features to build your own chat lobbies, your own forums, your own notifications based on that. And so you'll be able to switch context, create a group with your friends, access it in there, create a lobby, and boom, you're done, hit the ground running. And so what is Spectrum? Well, it's all of these things. It's real time, it's modern chat, modern forums, it's private group messaging, online presence, notifications and alerts, and namespaces. And this is the core of what this new app is. It's also voice, because we need to have voice transmission.
Now that we haven't seen.
And so you can advance more. And so on the voice
Anybody seen
part,
the voice icon in Spectrum?
we needed to be able to carry voice outside of the game, because as everybody knows and you have experience playing games,
I gotta be honest,
you
I
want voice
hardly
to be
use
carried by an
Spectrum.
external program and not by the game client, because
I
when the
pretty
game
much
client has an
never
issue,
use
well, you
Spectrum,
need
I
to be
can't
able
lie
to
to
talk
you.
to your friends and say, I'm
I mean, I have it up and right now. I use it all the time.
Spectrum is going to be your
but
lifeline for that.
I've never seen that
But of
little
course,
voice
Chris
icon
wasn't going
yet.
to settle with that.
My thing
We
is
can't have
Discord and
non-spatialized
Twitter.
voice in Star Citizen, and so Spectrum will be
Yeah, I'm not
able
gonna
to
lie,
send
you know.
voice datagrams to the game and have it be spatialized and treated inside the game. for
Discord and
additional treatment and
Instagram.
immersion. So
See?
that's going to be the ultimate goal.
This is one of those feats that haven't been reached yet. I just haven't.
And so
seen
when
it
you
yet.
put all these
I got
pieces
a list.
together,
Thank you for that.
you get an
Thank you
interface
for
that
the
looks a bit like
follow.
this.
Thank you.
You've got your
thank you.
top-notch sidebar, party system, voice channels, voice chat, and notifications all into one. And so this is what the dark team looks like. We can switch to the light team in a pinch. And so you'll be able to swap back and forth whenever you want.
Dude,
And
no,
so that's
switch back
the
to the
baseline
dark
of the
theme,
interface.
please.
You can see that we've kept it really, we use
Please,
modern
dark
stuff, and
theme
that
and
shows,
everything.
through the technology we're using.
Spend too much time on the
Now,
computer
of
for
course,
white light.
this needs to go everywhere. So it's a web app, it's a desktop application, and like Chris likes to say, Spectrum is the launcher.
Ching, ching, and ching.
And it's also going to be available on mobile and tablets because, you need to be able to keep up with your friends when they're in the game and you're at work. Now, in terms of game integration, this platform
we don't
is
have it on
similar to
tablet
other
yet. I
platforms
mean, you can
that
use it
exist.
from
The
Google
advantage that we
Chrome
have is that we can go deeper
or
with
Google
game
browser.
integration. Spatialized voice is one example, but there's more examples to that. Friends and contact will be standardized in Spectrum, so you can manipulate them from there. We can have rich game presence. That means you're not just online, you're on part Olisar. That's a big difference. So you'll be able to see statuses from the game straight in the Spectrum UI.
Like I said, $150 million, you better be
Party
rich.
management is where we ultimately want to be able to get, so that during the day you're planning out, a game session, you create your party inside the Spectrum, get your friends in, you've got your chat lobbies. your voice
I actually
lobbies already
don't
set
remember
up for your
what they were
party.
up to back
When you
then
get,
in
to
2016.
your,
I can
house
look.
at night to play, you just, boom, join the party, it's already created and it's ready to go. And so,
Agreed, Trip. White screen. It's awful.
Location-aware lobbies will allow us to basically have, voice lobbies and chat lobbies that are based on in-game locations. So just by being in a location, we'll create this dynamic lobby, and you'll be able to use it. You can see Spectrum as the real-world arm to the universe that Chris is building. And so when game events occur, and you need to be notified on your mobile or whatever, Spectrum will be the transmission for those, and so you'll be able to receive them this way. There's going to be also Spectrum will be available inside an overlay on the game, so you'll be able to see who's talking, voice, change your voice channels, open the full Spectrum UI, and chat with your friends directly from the game. And so it really becomes the in and out universe communication bridge for the game. And so now this was cool. I showed you some screens, talked a bit about it, but I'd like to show you where we're at. We're not ready to ship just yet, but I can demo the interface that we have on our development environment that we call Future, because we're hipsters like that. And you'll see that it's all generated with text from Alice in Wonderland, because it's our test generator, generates forum threads and channels and all that stuff. But I can just show you a bit where we are and where we're going to be there in a few weeks, I hope. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay. So this, what I'm showing off here is just a live super dev interface for Spectrum. And so right now I'm logged in as me. I've got access to chat lobbies. Now hopefully the internet is still up on this Mac and I can still reach it. Yes. All right. And so this is live chat. Now I only have the light theme on this version, but for every chat lobbies that I can visit, I can bookmark them directly in the left bar. The left bar will be the way you can track all types of content, whether it's a lobby, whether it's a thread. So in this case, I'm looking at a chat lobby. I can have rich embeds in it. I can have different user interfaces. I can send private messages straight from this interface directly. I can react. Now, you can imagine that right now we only have these default icons, but we're going to have some cool icons coming up. And obviously, as part of the customization that we plan, you guys will be able to upload your own sheets of emojis and emoticons and change your own upvote icons to customize. And so I can, from this lobby, this is pretty cool, I can jump to my Planet Express org, and then there you go, I'm inside it. But the key here is that the left sidebar allows me to balance between RSI community items, like the recruitment chat, for example, or the general forums of my org. And so I just need to bookmark them on the left, and that's it, I get access to them. Now, going down to these threads, I can just jump to any thread, really. And then this is the forum engine. It's a lot more modern. It's way faster too because it's real time. So when new reply comes up, I get a notifications for it. I can upvote, I can react on any of those. But also what's pretty cool is that we've flattened the list into a single list. So there's no more paging going from page to page, just scroll down the list. And one thing that's pretty cool is if we look at Leanne Jacoby here, who's answered Mr. Carey, I can mouse over it and I see his reply. And then, oh, what did he say? I can click on it, I can just jump straight to it and navigate inside the thread dynamically this way, giving us a lot more control. In terms of editing features, when you reply or
updated
or comment on
like
any
they have
of those replies,
passes here and there, but some of the stuff
this
still
is a
hasn't
bar
been
that's
implemented
directly
yet.
within. I can keep on browsing while I'm editing. The editing feature is based on blocks, and so I can add different blocks,
it's still
move
missing
them
stuff,
around, and
yeah.
compose my own. And so
I
this is
mean,
pretty
what
cool
she's
because it's
mainly
not just
missing
text
is
and
she's not
markdown, funky markdown. I
technically
can actually
all the
insert
way
the
in
blocks and move
game.
them and publish. And of course, when I do publish, if I was
You can pull up a web
watching
browser and you can pull her
thread,
up and you can load
then
up
I will
videos
get-
and things like that. You can't use
sorry
a
about
voice
that.
chat
I will
yet.
get a notification from directly.
And
so
as far as the
notification
extension of
panel
it
becomes my
coming into games, like I said
follow,
earlier,
button. And
you
so I
can
just
add
follow that.
friends
I can also bookmark
and
a
make a
thread,
group
and so then it shows
in
up
game.
in
But
my
that's pretty much
left bar.
it.
So you can imagine, big Katamari going out, and I want to follow that. I just put notifications on, bookmark it, and then it'll actually show up on the left and light up when new replies are
It did ship, yes. That was a godsend though.
Private messaging, of course, I was chatting with John earlier, so it was right here. I can actually check this out, and then I'm right in there, get my notifications for my private messaging and settings. And so this is the state of Spectrum right now. This is where we're going.
Background is killing me now.
We're a few weeks out from this first release, which will already allow you to create chat lobbies and forums and full control over that. And then if I can jump back to the presentation, right over here, here's what we're thinking about. Okay, so this soon trademark in this case is pretty close. We're thinking before the end of the year, we want to have this first release out because we want this in your hands so you can tell us what you like or dislike about it. And that's typical Star Citizen. We need your feedback to be able to compile what we like about the
next update, game presence,
and the other one, and
question mark,
if it's good or not. So in this software release, so it's browser only, but it's going to have forums and chat, notifications, private messaging, and friends. One thing that I did not show, I can just jump back, is search. So search is one thing that we wanted to have directly embedded in it, and so all your communities will be searchable right away. And so you'll be able to jump to threads or chats that have been logged. That's one thing I want to say to moderators, community moderators that are
Oh my God, I tried using search on that website. It's
all logged and searchable.
hard to find something you're looking for.
Public channels are.
Yeah,
all the
you
org
and me
stuff
both.
is yours.
I gave up after about 10
And
minutes.
so,
I was just like, screw it.
And the next update after that is we want to hook it up directly with the game presence so you can already see when your friends are playing the game, and that will create the first bridge with the game so that everything is connected. And the customization options I named, like being able to add your custom emojis, your custom upvote buttons, that'll be in that second release. And then after that, we're moving to a 6 to 8 week cycle for all of the remaining functions. So launcher, in-game overlay,
when they do implement it in game,
and so
that
we're going to
you'll
be
be
working
able
on
to
Spectrum
see
quite a bit.
who's
And this
in
is
the
only the
system
beginning because
that you're in.
As you can see, you can already imagine
kinda
how
like
we can
local
bring down the
and,
organization
chat.
management in it,
Right.
or
Yeah,
add more
that's gonna be
features to
cool.
it. And so this is going to become a really important tool that you'll have, since you'll have the installer, you'll have the launcher, you'll have Spectrum installed. And so
It'll
that's it.
happen.
That's what I want to
Just
show
wait
you guys.
2025 before we get that. That's all.
Listen.
John is not going on stage again.
I doubt they'll put it. They'll eventually have it in. I just don't know when. I'm saying like a lot of stuff is going to be low priority, even when launch happens. Like you won't see some of this stuff until after launch.
Yeah, yeah.
One year
chance to show
ago,
patriotism,
our lives were shattered. But we have not forgotten.
I don't think I've seen this video in a while. Nice audio.
United in the face of the Vandal threat, we have dedicated ourselves to creating the universe we have always wanted. A safe and secure UEE for all. Thanks to your continued support in the sale of war bonds,
safe and
the
secure
UEE is
society.
proud to announce the Militia Mobilization Initiative, authorizing the sale of certain military-grade ships to ensure that
this might be one
civilian
of our first
militias are
look at the
properly
ship
equipped to defend the
inside.
Empire in times of need. We will
not
ensure
our
a
first,
brighter
but one.
future for our children. At the forefront of that effort is RSI's newest ship, the Polaris.
You kill me with that
Combining
statement,
devastating
Mason.
firepower and searing speed, the Polaris-class corvette is effective against a wide variety of aggressors and scenarios. From delivering humanitarian aid to tactical operations, the Polaris's ability will make it an essential part of any fleet for years to come. But the Polaris is only the tip of the spear for this grand initiative. A full line of other ships are now available for a limited time. And to support
Maybe because
faster
that's what they're looking
mobilization
for.
and
Personality.
operational effectiveness, Fleet formations are being offered in discounted, pre-designed ship teams. So stand in solidarity with the brave men and women who
get
put
that
their lives
in a
on the
world
line
kind of situation.
and join them
Voice.
in protecting the dream that is the UEE.
I'm pretty sure that's
Answer
intentional
the
too.
call today.
Oh, that's a bingo, my mistake. But yeah, but I haven't seen that in years, at least 2017.
So anyway, you probably already know.
You
can
can be one of us without being one of us. Buy our ship.
RSI Polaris Corvette, and I think yesterday was the best day we ever had in Star Citizen. And I mean, the one thing I do want to say though, because I know this
And we have
there's a bit of debate and controversy. The
300 million worth.
No one needs to get a big fancy spaceship or anything else. If you spend $40 or $45 and do it, that's all you need. But the way I look at it is,
no one
you know,
big fancy spaceship. He said it right there.
You know, getting a Corvette or whatever, a Constellation, is really just supporting development. I mean, that's kind of the way it looks like. And so for me, it should only be if someone's saying, you know what, I really like what these guys are doing. I want to support it. I love the process, and I'm there, and they're giving me a cool ship in the process. That's the way it should be. Nothing more, nothing less, because you will absolutely be able to earn everything in-game playing, right? Just saying. But it is a cool ship, anyway, just let you know. And you go.
Yeah, if you play for some of those ships for like 6 years, get out of here, Chris Roberts.
Thank you for everyone that's bought a Corvette, because it's what allows us to build the things that we're doing. And thank you to anyone that's
No, that's just a Polaris falling out of the sky.
Thing or a really big thing. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to click. There we go. Oh, look at that. So we're going to give you. I'm going to go through a bit boring update stuff now, and then we're going to show you some cool stuff. So first, Squadron 42. Sort of tell you kind of where we're at on it. Squadron 42, like other things, like
Class, we have a Polaris.
And by the way,
I do not. That was not a ship that fit my functionality.
That Benoit and John didn't mention is that the goal when we deliver Spectrum
budget.
for the first time is also delivering the next generation launcher, which has the new patch.
Let me look at it, see how much it is.
Gigs of data all the time whenever we do a small test. Which I think would help people out. I mean, if you got fast internet, maybe it's not such a big deal, but with data caps and all the rest of stuff. And it's also frustrating even for us when we're patching on the dev side. It's like you change one file and suddenly there's at least 2 gigabytes. So the new system's really it's exponentially better. It will only be bringing down things that change. So we're working hard.
Ooh, it is more expensive than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was like 500, 600, but no, it's 750. It might have been cheaper when it came out, obviously. But yeah, it's 750 now.
So it's a mortgage payment, is what you're saying.
Our platform team's much more reliable than me.
Depends on whose mortgage. I can get a lot not for 750.
You have to be an optimist in this business. So anyway, speaking of optimistic, Squadron 42, it's significantly grown from when it was first pitched in 2012.
But it is rent money, I'll give you that much.
Get you where we'll land.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Feature lock now. We have what we call chapters, which is chapters in the story. There's 28 of them in Squadron 42, Episode 1.
Mastercard. I wish my mortgage payment was 750,
Most
right?
of our chapters are multi-part, so if you compare it to a Wing Commander mission, they're usually 2 to 3 missions in length. So there's flying around, down on foot.
Okay, so they're going in depth in Squadron 42 now.
So obviously it has an A-list cast that you all know about. There's a few people we haven't told you about that will be a surprise that we will unveil.
Simpson AI, I remember that name.
If you have some other people that are part of it, which is pretty cool. We have 340 speaking roles in it, which is insane because most movies have maybe 30 or 40 speaking roles. And state-of-the-art facial scanning and mocap. We showed a little bit. I had a 10 for the chairman when we talked a bit about that.
We have some delays in ships, right? Because
we're really making
correct me if I'm wrong. Squadron 42 is being made in Foundry 42, right? And isn't Foundry 42 also making large ships?
Not a small amount, and it gives you an idea of.
But mostly for Squadron 42.
You've got that much of sort of people talking to you as well as action stuff.
Like all the ships,
Dave and Will,
most of the ships that are being made right now are supposed to be
where are you, Dave and Will?
for Squadron
Hands up.
42, and
Over there.
some fast form.
Incredibly talented, wrote 1,255 pages, and have been steadfastly there with me last year and this year shooting, and I have to say, they're absolute rock stars. I mean, we were, I think we only just finished writing all the stuff for Squadron 42 earlier this year when we were doing the final shoot, which we did earlier this year. But it's, I think, a really fantastic story, so I can't wait for you guys to actually experience it and play it. We have 40 distinct ships from fighters to dreadnoughts. There's a lot that you guys, I mean, there's Van Dole stuff and some other stuff that's in there. You've seen some of the stuff. You haven't seen some of the other stuff. We have some really beautiful handcrafted environments built by the environment team that we have, enhanced with some of the new procedural tech. So one of the things we've been doing is some of the new developments we've been doing on the Star Citizen.
But back about the Polaris, I believe that was a popular ship when it came out. They probably made a lot from the crowdfunding on that one, but it just wasn't something I'm interested in. Like I have the bandwidth and for marketing, and
I shouldn't really apologize for that. Just do it! We're really working for
that's twice, Chris. That's twice.
Space and FPS gameplay. So it's not. So the idea is you do not just go one play path. It's not one scripted play path. You can approach different missions different ways. So do you want to go the back door, stealth it? Do you want to go kick the front door down and guns blazing? So we're building that, and the systems are all built systemically, and it is some of the same systems that we're going to be doing in Star Citizen. We're going to, we're always going to have dogfighting in space, but now we're going to have dogfighting in planetary atmosphere, which is kind of a big deal. And we have the new tech, which we're going to be showing you a little later on here. And we have the Subsumption, which is fully systemic AI, sort of next generation stuff. Created by the genius mind of Tony Zurvek, wherever he is. I don't know, he's hiding out somewhere here. The big AI team behind it, led by Francesco Riccucci and his guys that are implementing most of it, and the designers that are doing it. But it's going to allow for, being, say, on whatever ship you're serving on, say the Idris or a Bengal, and the crew's going about their day, having schedules, doing lots of different things, fixing things. It's going to be very cool. All right. I will demonstrate clicking. There you go. See, I'm just pretending to click, and they actually do it back there. So as an update, most of our technology is now done. We have some key things still left. So Subsumption is still
somebody get that man
the
a new
major one that
clicker.
we're doing, just because it's this whole new thing that we're doing, and we need to continue to work on.
Oh, like I said, just new one with LTI.
Like we would in traditionally game. We have these different moving ships. So like, for instance, the Idris is moving around in space while people are moving around inside it, which is a challenge that you don't normally get in most games. And that has to work. Animation integration. So we spent all this time capturing these actors at a huge amount of fidelity, and we want to make sure that the fluidity of the animation going between actions and everything doesn't feel sort of
fidelity
like
for those playing the drinking game. Drink.
That's right.
Does that. Right, so that definitely takes time. Improved combat logic in terms of the AI sort of working together and stuff. Integrating sort of, we have
some people may start CitizenCon bingo cards to play bingo on.
The old crisis way, but since we've gone more systemic and we've got Subsumption, we're building another layer on top of Subsumption to be able to do an extra level of systemic sort of missions, which you'll see in Squadron 42, but then that's actually the engine that powers what we're doing in Star Citizen that's even more flexible, and enhanced flight AI to sort of make them fly together as wingmen better, which is kind of sort of a bit about the improved combat logic. So those are all sort of things we're working on. So AI is a big thing that we really want to push to make the experience good. Object container streaming, I talked about object containers back in GamersCon. It's sort of how we can travel around these big star systems and bring in like really dense areas of information, objects, and then get them out. Because we can't, even if you've got a machine with a lot of memory, you can't keep it all in. You can't keep the video memory all in, so you've got to stream it in and out. And so that's the sort of technical challenge. And then we want to do some CPU and GPU optimizations. Click forward, please. There you So right now where we're at on Squadron
Do
42
you see
is
all
all the
this hair? I've been
chapters
trying
and
to get a
gameplay
haircut
features
since
are
March.
gray box are better. So gray box is when we've had everything
Yeah,
blocked
you ought to
out,
be happy that
all
you
the
have it.
actions done. We've sort of balanced it for what we think will be fun and not, but it doesn't
Here
have
we
sort
are
of
in
the
a
final
life of
assets, the
Corona,
final polish,
and I'm still begging for
and
mine to grow.
things like the AI that I was talking about. We are currently taking one of the chapters of the story all the way to what we would consider final shipping quality. The idea would be to flush out all the technical
Look at what Glaze done to
integration and
that
polish
side.
issues you would get with that. And that was actually, I gave an interview, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
Probably
that's so
too
sweet.
soon. And it's saying, we're hoping to show you a Squadron 42
thank
mission.
you.
And we're not quite there yet.
subscribe,
So we got
Squadron
very
Glaze
close. The team worked really hard, but we
Jesus
don't want to show it until we say, this is what it's going to be like in the final game with all the polish. And you know, for our standpoint, we don't want to show something too early on Squadron 42. We want to show the final stuff. So I know that's a bit of a bummer, but it's important because I think Squadron 42 itself is going to be a fantastic experience. But there is, you know, work in progress. Star Citizen, yes, I think work in progress on Squadron 42. I don't really want to do because I am accused of being a bit of a perfectionist, but it does need to be a great experience. And well, I'm hopefully gonna show you something that will make you forget what I just said. So we'll see. Maybe not, but you know, then you can just buy me lots. You can buy me lots of drinks afterwards, or I'll drink lots of alcohol or do something. But one of the keys
I'm
is
pretty
that
sure you'll have to put behind you, but
and
some
I
of it
think
you're going to have to
Aaron
pay
said it
attention
in the
to. I don't
video,
imagine
and I
flying a
feel that
spaceship
way
in space
is,
is going to be all that easy if you're not at least
we
slightly
want
versed
to
in
do it right. It's
basic
really
physics and
important to do it
function.
right. What we're enabled to do by you guys is to do it right. Because if we were
No,
in
people will
a
fly
typical
for you,
situation
like
with a publisher,
Starliners.
they would say, well, no, you've got to make the Christmas window, get it out, and da-da-da, and then you can patch it with some, you can do some patches, and then the DLC, and don't worry about that people won't think it's quite as polished or whatever, and it's got a bunch of bugs. And no, that's
sounds like the kind of thing I do
think
because I'm a
because
terrible pilot.
everybody's, this is what you guys, it's what I want. I spent all this time. You guys have obviously spent a vast amount of time supporting and being there.
All you have to do is just stop crashing into Griffin and you're fine.
Why spend?
That's so much easier said than done, though.
Because you remember, I mean, look, I got to tell you, I was, there's quite a lot of things that, like, I was like looking forward to Uncharted 4, and they're like, oh no, it's gonna be February, and I was like, oh damn it. And then I played it, and I didn't give a shit that
Squadron 42
I was playing in like, whatever it was, March.
Everything in gray box 4 years ago.
Because it was a fucking great game. And so, sorry, pardon my
I believe they're
French.
close, but like I said,
So that's really
you can get
important.
90% of the game
That's
for a
my
certain
long-winded
period,
way of
but the
saying
last
that as
10%
much as we
takes
wanted to
longer than the first
Squadron
90%.
42 for this year is not going to be this year because from the polish we need to do, it still needs it. But we will be showing you this final, this mission polish level in the near future. So, and I'm hoping that will be before.
Hey, Glad. I don't need
I'm
you.
not
I don't
going
need
to
you
promise
putting my
that 'cause I get
business
shot
on the
by
internet.
people.
Okay.
Okay.
We're not telling anybody that.
That's Squadron 42. Let me move on.
That's how good. Edit this part out, you'll be
is
fine.
the next thing we're doing, which is Star Marine, which is obviously a big thing, and Arena.
Here we go.
There's some of these things that we'll be talking about in future size. We have new
Yep.
features for Star Marine. We're doing stuff for Arena Commander. We're adding more stuff for the Crusader map. We're refactoring the lobby and the leaderboards, which we talked about on a recent ATV episode. And also we also talked about the flight model, which we're also doing. And right now, the avocati, I know we say it bad or wrong.
I believe we got all
What do we say?
of those.
Avocados? Should I just say avocados? All right. There you go. Avocados.
Staying game without going to the lobby.
They have
That's
a version
debatable.
built on the
That right there,
2.5
yeah.
release, giving some feedback, and we're listening to that, and that's kind of what the power and the beauty of.
I mean, to a point, yes, but
is.
technically, yeah.
It's going to have
you
a
still
new
have to go
music
back
logic
to the lobby
system
to go to
in,
the persistent universe.
which is
So
actually pretty cool because it's a dynamic music system that's
All right, so it's the technicality, but it's not
we had a very
the honest.
Yeah, like, but once you're there, you can stay in persistent universe as long as you just can't want to, or until you crash.
Until you get a 30K, right?
And so I think that's actually going to be a very subtle thing that will make things better. We have a sort of new camera. We've been working on the camera system for 2.6. I think that's important. I mean, I keep watching all the videos you guys do, and I'm like, okay, let's give them better tools and because you guys.
I like how even on the
and
presentation on the slide it says "stay in game" within quotation.
Did you see this? Did you see what they did? That's great. So we're going to have that in there, and one big thing what we're working on is to stop.
Because even they know they
be
be on nonsense. Commander,
a Star Marine game. You go back to a loading screen, do the lobby, and load again. So the idea is we won't do that. We're just going to go in there, and then there's no loading back and forth levels or anything. It's all just going to stay. You're going to go in once and there. So hopefully you'll be able to have more frequent games. So
we got that part.
The focus for 2.6 for Arena Commander and Star Marine is to make it a really kind of fun, easy way to get in and just fly around in space and dogfight or run around on the ground and get into sort of FPS combat and make that sort of as polished as possible. So here we go. Boom. So Arena Commander. Did I miss Star Marine? Hang on a sec. Let's see. Nope. There we go. So we're going to have this new virtual ship. We showed it on the ATV. So instead of like having to go to the hangar to set your ship up, in the lobby
haven't had
screen,
an update in Arena Commander
you can do your
ages.
loadout and equip your rec items, which will make things much better and faster. We're gonna have a new pirate swarm mode.
They slipped some things in there, so
missiles will be persistent. So you can't just like, I fire all my missiles and I crash into an asteroid to respawn with more missiles.
Real slick like.
Which I think, I'm not saying everyone does it, but there's a few people that do that. We'll have sort of reloads and stuff that will help in the kind of gameplay, just to sort of make it a fun, combat experience. We'll have a scoring rebalance, and I think pretty much most of the ships you can fly normally in Crusader, you'll be able to fly in private matches. All right, here we go. On to the next. There we go. I swear. It's like, there we go. All right, Star Marine. There's going to be two maps you'll fight on. There'll be Station Data, which is a smaller space station.
And Star Marine
map, and then there's going to be sort of a bigger sort of asteroid base, which is a 12v12, which we call Echo 11. There'll be two game modes. There'll be deathmatch and control, so control of areas. So you fight for control as teams. We have new armor, weapons, grenades, tactical visor, friendly player ID, which helps sometimes shoot your
tactical visor.
Shoot your friends instead of your eyes.
I've not seen that.
You'll be able to loot, so like you shoot someone, you can take weapons from them or ammunition from them, and we'll have achievements and ribbons. So it'll be.
It was at one
point,
and we haven't seen a tactical visor with radar in a couple of years.
Straight up sort of arena shooting, whether it's in space or on foot. Sort of fun, quick, easy to get into, much better than.
It's only 4 years late.
I think that's kind of important, so people can sort of have fun and play while we're working on this.
It's only an entire toddler late. It'll get here.
And
so I'm just
where's that looting system?
Before we get to the fun stuff, kind of our roadmap. Obviously, we talked about 3.0 back in Gamescom, which is sort of the first. Kind of, you would consider, that's, I wouldn't say it's what Star Citizen the final game is going to be, but a lot of games, if they had those features, they would be very happy. Which is, going to have trading, cargo, piracy, smuggling, mercenary.
I know them small people always in my house.
Try to, get the Stanton system in there fleshed out. It's going to be using the Planet V2 technology, which I am going to show you very shortly after I've gone through these slides.
So we got all those ships.
I think you guys are going to like.
Now this is what I'm looking for here. If I could pause, it'd be great. It'd be fantastic. We did get all those ships.
Saw a little bit of a Gamescom. Caterpillar, the Aquila, which you may or may not see here in a bit. Okay, so, and I want to give you a bit of roadmap after 3.0, so you know what we're doing.
This right here, I'm going to tear this apart. Did not get refining or processing. Okay, no refueling, very little escorts to no escorts.
Also, by the way,
Miss Halsey, where is it? We're still waiting for you, buddy.
After going
you came prepared, man.
Realized that
I already knew when this came up. I was like, there go Kelosal. He's finna tick down the line.
Not done yet.
It's almost impossible to get a significant amount of content.
Because as much as I love this game, I still got some more on here. What we have not gotten.
Releases is probably going to be something like 2 to 3 months between releases. So just to give expectations, because I don't want to go through 3.1, 3.2.
We just got the red and blue like this year.
Okay, we're going to get that in 4 months.
Yeah.
Because again, we'll get shot by everyone on the development side.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 3.1 is going to have
like I
mining.
said,
We're going to
this
have
4
refining
years,
and
it's
processing. We're going to
fine.
have
They're still
quantum
working on it.
interdiction, which means you'll be able to wait and pull people out of quantum travel, whether it's AI.
Yeah,
You're
but
right.
the-
It's
the-
probably
refueling,
the big
escort
ship that I would
we're gonna
purchase.
we're going to
but,
add
you know,
additional locations.
Which
to
one?
Stanton.
assuming it ever happens. The Orion.
And
The
we'll have
Orion.
the new Drake ships. Well, we're basically
It's
we already
funny
have
because
red
I
and
mean,
blue,
the
but
slide says
in the new
3.1.
way we do ships. The Miss Cull C for trading, the Prospector for mining, and the Origin 85X, which was this kind of cool cruiser that was with the 890 jump. And if you already have an 890 jump, of course, you will get that already. The next one up would be 3.2 with repair and salvage. So we'll be able to salvage and repair.
Boom, boom. Haven't got any of that.
So
No salvage, no
dive a bit deeper
repair.
in mercenary because we have some mercenary stuff.
Mercenary, covert,
covert,
covert, yes, we've got some of that.
Again,
Additional solar
adding,
systems.
More locations.
I mean, where's the pyro system? Where's the terror system? Where's the lair
They're
system?
coming. To be fair, they're all coming with more systems. I'm not sure when, but yeah, not by 3.2.
No Taurus.
Variants of the Vanguard.
No Taurus,
the
that's true.
Which is a beautiful ship, and I know it's one of Nate's favorite ships. So if you know Nathan Disley likes the ship, it's going to be awesome. 3.3. Here's the one.
No farming.
Who knew farming was so popular?
Haven't gotten any additional systems yet. And I'm still waiting for the ship of all
what
ships.
we're going to have 3.3
Have you
is
got
one.
my right now? Talk about farming.
Yeah, I knew.
Where's my bad news?
And then you can hit Tony.
Oh, that's right.
Get more
That's
fleshing
right.
out.
Chris thought they were cheering for the farming, but we were cheering for the merchantmen.
Which I think everyone that's the 890 jump. Right?
Haven't got that yet.
And the merchantmen.
Get it together, Foundry 42, because I'm still waiting.
By
on
the
this
way,
ship.
so once the Squadron 42, the Foundry 42,
Yay, merchantman, yay!
They're going up. They're actually all rolling. So the way we're going to do it is that our biggest vehicle team is in Foundry 42, and right now most of them are working on the Squadron 42 ships because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of Vandals.
All right, so
It's
fine. It's fine.
I mean, the Idris, the Javelin.
What was that, Kelosal?
So they're all going to roll off onto sort of the big new ships, which are Carrick Jump.
Yeah, he just said it. He said the biggest ships were going to Foundry 42, obviously because they're doing Squadron 42, and the smaller ships are being made in the U.S.
Like a Buccaneer or the F8 or something like that. So anyway,
he said it
so that's what we're going to have with 3.3. Here we go. And then finally, 4.0. So this is which
we
will
don't
be
even have
the
4.0
first
yet.
time we'll go beyond.
So
That's true.
Go beyond.
See, no, we ain't even there yet.
Star systems yet, which we'll be able to build with our content pipeline, which we'll show you a little bit up and coming here. But we're very focused on. Have you seen some of the ATV? How to author star systems at the quality level that we like, with the sense of lore and art and character and history, but be able to do.
Scuba Steve, I was interested in the mobile app version of Spectrum,
just making a small
but we still haven't gotten that.
Obviously, for us to build the system, the universe that we need to be a bit faster than that. But we will have
so fascinating if they somehow snuck in the Orion and the Crucible.
Exploration and discovery will be sort of highlight there for obvious reasons. Science and research.
How about the whole sea?
And
keep dreaming.
the RSI Orion and the Crucible will be two of the big ships that we will be doing there. So that's the roadmap for Star Citizen.
Orion by December? I don't know.
So, and our goal is this is the roadmap going forward in over next year.
It is fair. It is amazing how much of this stuff, I mean, he has a roadmap, and it's still following the roadmap. They pushed a lot of these features down the line.
It's always best laid plans. Okay, so now we're going to get on to what we talked about. So it's demo time. So
wow, can you imagine now? I mean, 2016 was the V2 Planet Tech. Now we're on what, version 4?
That was our sort of V1 Planet Tech, and I said that we have this V2 tech that you're not seeing It's a whole nother level beyond what we were showing you. And the goal really is to sort of deliver that crisis level quality down on the ground, walking around, driving around, but on a global scale, right? So like most of these games, if you look at Battlefield,
Scuba Steve, they said no more dates, but they're still having these milestones for 3.1 and on.
I mean, they do
So
beautiful
that's not
stuff,
a date per
but
se,
it's all
but you know,
limited
it's a
to,
goal.
you know, 2 by 2 kilometers or 4 by 4 kilometers, or maybe if you're lucky, 16 by 16 kilometers. So for us, we want to have that level of quality, but on a planetary scale, and that is a big, big ask. The team in Frankfurt, who have mostly been leading this, are a lot of the guys that built CryEngine in the first
But maybe
place.
if they're not going to put the whole C in game,
brilliant.
is there a way that they can put it in at least Arena Commander?
Teams from the other studios, because a lot of
The
our
whole C has to be in game because that's supposed to be the most popular set
come from other places, but we are going to show
in
you
the universe.
Here. I'm going to show you.
Yeah, I know that. But you know, if they're having problems with the
demo
object
set
containment,
in a planet. Now we took a planet not necessarily that's in
can they let people try it out in Arena Commander, the free flight?
Ecosystem to
maybe.
show you what the tech can do. And so this is the first time we're showing
maybe
the tech
not, because it's probably all tied in.
Of course,
you
like
have to
everything
make
we do,
it
it's
best
going to get
for Arena Commander.
better and better. But it's a completely new terrain system. It seamlessly supports the sort of spherical terrain at planetary scale. So, you know, most terrain systems are flat, whereas this, it's a planet, it's round, and you can go around every side, and the gravity and everything works. And the horizon line is the actual real horizon line. If you see something, you can walk to it. There is no cheating at all on it. It's all, yeah. I know, it's...
No, GG, that's just
hard
Scuba
to
Steve's
believe
natural
it's
state.
not faked, I know. You know, kind of like the moon landing, really.
Love you, Scuba Steve.
Anyway, but everything's you know, everything's generated at runtime because you can't have this amount of data
Good to see you
in
this
there,
week.
and it's amazing. And actually, when we show the dev, I
Oh,
think
happy
we've
Hamilton
set up
movie
so you can sort
weekend.
of see the frame counter, because what the guys have done, the game
have
logic
watched it
and the
5
code
times already.
information slows everything down. Their actual engine generating the world is incredibly fast. So if you look
Hey,
at
if
the
you
top
party
right,
with me,
you'll
you're going to have fun, though.
see when you're seeing the world, and you'll see it sort of drop. Frame, it's still going to be very fast, but you'll see the frame kind of drop when the game stuff starts happening, when you're moving around and stuff.
I won't guarantee that you won't get into trouble.
So
that's why I don't party with fastcart, everybody.
Over here, I'm going to have Sean and Simon, who I'll introduce in a bit. We'll do a bit more of a deep dive after I've shown you this particular demo to talk a little about it, but longer term. The ATV episode for Frankfurt is going to really go into some of the tools that we use.
I think is the key word.
Yeah, no, they're
we had fun. We had fun.
Checking. That voice sounded
no question
familiar
about
to me.
that. We did have fun.
But the key is that it's absolutely artist driven. So we're using the procedural techniques, and we're using all this stuff to just basically author planets at a global scale very quickly. But to give it real sense and character, because it's.
So this is the first time to mention procedural stuff, right?
Sort of procedural tech to do planets, and I have to say that as
and then next year they say, "Oh, we got all the stuff done because of procedural,"
and all the rest of the stuff. But for me, I want to sort of be able to say, I want to build this, planet that looks like Hoth, and I want to build this planet that looks like Tatooine, right? I want to have the sense, and I want to be able to control it. And so the big key for the tech we were doing was to have it sort of artist-driven with the procedural technology enhancing what the artists do, and so that's what we're going to show here. The other
we had more people outside than we did inside sometimes.
Artist tools. We're also trying to think about how we're creating content for this universe, so you can explore.
Hey, thanks for the raid, Kimmy.
And it's not just the interactions with the other players, but we have a rich world
Kimmy,
that's sort of going on, and there's missions that you can sort of stumble across, or AI are doing things, and we showed at Gamescom sort of an example of coming across a space wreck you have to retrieve a black box from a destroyed starfarer. And what we're planning to do is have sort of a combination of sort of the simpler missions, which are mostly generated, like, oh, well, this location needs this kind of mineral, so they're creating a job for someone to bring it to them, or go and fight the pirates that are getting in the way of the trade lanes. And then there's the sort of more in-depth stuff, which we sort of showed with the Miles Eckhart mission in the Gamescom demo. And what we're showing here is sort of the version of that was more planetary focused, where we build different building blocks and players could come across it and do it. and you know, to have a rich
There's a
living world that they're
timestamp for
gonna adventure
everyone.
on.
We're like
So
15 minutes
that's
away
sort of
from finishing the
the
video.
missions that sort of have these scripted blocks that sort of can procedurally sort of connect to each other and have maybe different situations or outcomes depending on what's happening. And that's something that Todd Pappy, who's not here today, who's our design director, and Tony are very big on, and I think it's going to be really cool. So having said that, we are going to go to the demo. I don't think,
when
see if there's
people see this part of it, if you haven't seen it already, looking at the difference between V2 tech
and we will start the
and
demo. This is all
V4 tech
100%
is a
live
massive difference.
in the engine.
Yeah,
in
that's what I
real
was talking
time.
about in chat. It's like
let's go.
The tech from that period looked like child's play compared to what they have now.
Absolutely.
In real time. Let's go.
Can you see me? Nope. Okay, I was looking for myself.
I am actually glad to be able to get Star Citizen from a perspective of somebody rather new. You know what I mean? I get pretty much all the good without having to deal with any of the bad y'all had to deal with.
It was a lot. Now look at this. I want to be clear. The worm is on Lear 3.
One thing, if we have a bit of we're watching a cutscene now.
And
I remember getting to Star Citizen, the CitizenCon plague. Everyone got sick coming home. Remember that?
I wasn't there.
Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a convention, so it's bound to happen. But yeah, I was so sick. There's stuff I said and did I don't remember saying.
A little bit salty? Black and white? Does that say a bit salty?
I mean, look at the graphics. So look at the terrain with the mountains. With version 2, you saw the snow at the base of the mountain, and with version 4, now the snow, it covers the entire mountain and gives us a better detail.
And the the plants and stuff are more detailed now.
And it's crazy to look at this and be like, wow, these graphics are so nice, right? And then you think about where Star Citizen is right now, and the graphics are 10 times better than even this.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this still looks good.
It was good, that's what I'm saying. You think about how good this is, and then you realize that it has somehow managed to get better. Thanks for the follow, Kay.
Thanks for the follow. One of the problems with this video was a lot of the trees look copy-pasted. They look the same.
Well, he said that a lot of this stuff, he said a lot of this stuff was handcrafted, right? And plus you don't see that much, if any, weather tech. Look at those mountains. Look at how generic they look now, right? Or at least then.
They still, okay, I was gonna say, they still look good to me.
Yeah, they look great, but look at the snow. You see certain spots where you see snow at, and certain spots you can see bald patches. And then
he actually says, hello, CitizenCon, you guys are all laughing
the
when you saw
colder
the
it's
guy.
supposed to be, so you should see snow everywhere. You don't see that in version 2. But when you get to version 4, major difference.
And it's still has it, the game still isn't out yet. This kind of reminds me of Wrath of Khan, the Genesis.
Genesis effect.
Yeah, the Genesis fly-through. Heck, that might have been one of the inspirations for this video.
And here we go.
Alright.
In the Connie Aquila before its rework.
Here we are in our Constellation Aquila.
Thanks for the follow, Chris Breaker.
Thank you.
Contrails.
Yeah, I don't remember. I've only
So we're heading towards the
but
distress
other than
beacon.
that,
So
I
the
don't
idea
remember
with this
much
would
of
be
it from
that
this,
you potentially could get a mission
presentation.
where you get a distress beacon, and you're going to find out on, in this particular case, this planet. So we're heading towards it.
Yeah, I still have a particular bias towards the Connie. I mean, she's one of my first larger vessels that I purchased. I still think she's a very good ship for that size as far as maneuverability
So I
and
think,
atmosphere.
Since telling us the atmospheric conditions are unsafe, and one of the key gameplay things you want to do
Until you're
on
a pilot
is
like
obviously
me.
the planetary technical powers to have a whole bunch of play areas we don't normally have, to encourage players
My
not
physical
to always,
package is the constant.
maybe you can't always
So
fly
I have
there,
a
maybe you have to get
special
out
special
and use
spot for the
rover,
Connie
for
too.
instance, which you have in a pillar. So it's fine. Let's go find a landing zone that's on the edge of the desert plain. I'll look around, Vince, as you're going. You just concentrate on
J2, that was a real-time Star Trek reference, so I couldn't just let that slide by. I use it to get around sometimes. But if I had my Phoenix, I would fight more a lot, because until I get the Earthman, my Phoenix is in my backpack right now.
you know, it's a little compression there. We've been working on that thing for the... I know it's a small thing, but I always want to have the landing gear compressed when you land.
I like my Connie for the aesthetic.
Flies like a turd in a tornado.
Oh my God! How does a turd fly?
I saw that.
I have so many
Don't
questions.
ask. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I saw that. I was thinking, yeah, I still fly mine, but yeah, okay.
Let's get us let's be nice and tidy, close the locker up, and then grab our gun just in case there's some hostiles out there. I mean, but this is kind of an example, like, for instance, you shouldn't be able to sort of sit in heavy armor flying a ship.
I remember seeing this for the
Maybe
first time. I was saying how cool
this
stuff is.
when you need to go outside and do stuff. And so you sort of want to make it quite immersive and have different reasons to be equipping and using different stuff. So if you
Painting
notice,
something
this
all
is,
right.
the actor that we had that was in People to Planet. He's actually in Squadron 42. He plays a character called Joachim Steiger.
Oh yeah, People to Planet. That was this
See
year.
the distress beacons about almost 3 kilometers away over there. We get our little scope out. All right, so let's figure out how to get there since we can't fly. So, handily, we've got the Constellation Killer, so we have rover. So, you know, if you saw the Constellation Killer commercial a while ago, we are now doing this in-game, in real time. Awesome.
I mean, I don't know why they took even that MFD out. Still. Loving those MFDs that they put in back at that time.
All right.
I just put the
sorry, Glad. I mean, DryCon, there's something going on with Twitch, but it's good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you're here.
So, Gigi, I have a question for you. You kept by spaceship, but can you drive in the game?
Only if I want to throw up.
Oh, right. Sorry about that.
Extreme motion sickness, and Star Citizen is super immersive, so that's a no.
So you're not even watching this part at all.
And unlike
if you can tell, I've been looking down.
You don't hear, but I'm sure
in the Tumblr there. So
there's lots of videos where people walk all the way around the planet, or they.
I'll let you know when it's safe.
That is not a skybox.
Yeah, I always have to drive the Tumblr in third person. I can't do it in first person.
It's all there, everywhere.
See, I'm better at driving than I am at
And that's
flying,
actually
but that's
the liberating thing with this tech is when you build a planet on a planetary scale, its level of detail, and of course,
could actually play like racing games and stuff.
Looks like what you see at Battlefield 1, for instance, in the desert.
But the bouncing and stuff like the bouncing and stuff throws me off, obviously.
But of course, it's all at a global scale, the whole planet. And we have different ecosystems, obviously, we've flown through. So we flew over oceans, we flew over sort of grasslands or forests.
Again, this is version 2 tech, so I can only imagine the weather tech now in game for Lear 3.
I have one of these because I have a killer, but it's not something I would. I might have gotten it on my own eventually, but I prefer the bikes like the Ranger or the Dragonfly.
Looks like someone didn't heed the atmospheric unsafe flight warning.
I do 12 CCU in my hangar though, but I don't know if I'm going to apply it.
Yeah, we've got a lot more rocks now, Scuba.
Yeah, it's mostly flat, so you could actually drive straight.
And if we take a look back here, you can sort of see where we came from.
And through your trees.
2.5 kilometers back there. And so we're heading past this rock out, this sort of canyon walls to head to the distress beacon.
Everyone remember where you parked. By the way, one thing that we're not experiencing by
where I parked at the mall.
What's that?
I said I can't remember where I parked at the mall. Talking about remember where you parked on a planet.
Don't tell people that.
This is why I take Uber. I walk out, the car is right there. It's just like, hey.
Morpheus Horizon, Javelin Class. Where that came from. Alright, let's carry on. See if there's anyone around. We'll head that way to get to the distress beacon.
Oh man, in LA, Uber was expensive. Like we did a test house in that year. We did a Airbnb, but we got a cheap one, but it was far from the convention. If we had actually got closer to the convention, we probably would have saved money just by not using Uber as much.
I had to get home from work one day, back before I had Uber Platinum. It cost me $54 for a trip that's usually like $17. Limitless Factor, thank you for the follow, buddy.
Thank you. A great don't know why.
Thanks, Scuba, for the host.
I know the music changing here is all part of the dynamic.
Yeah, for this year's CitizenCon, I was like 18 minutes away from the venue.
Yikes.
I was walking, not driving, walking 18 minutes away.
Double yikes.
That was a cheap price.
GG don't walk in the heat.
It's not that warm in October in LA. It wasn't last year, but you know, that changes year to year, obviously.
So look how much makeup I wear. GG don't walk in the heat.
Well, GG, you're more than welcome to ride with me in my cart.
Fastcart been trying to get me in this cart for way too long, y'all.
What can I say? I'm a gentleman. She's not buying that one.
Alright, let's see what we got around here.
Not the strangest one I've heard, Glade. Trust me. Standard deviation 07, sir. How are you today?
Had our shot moment. Here we go. Right, we got one. We got another distress speaker we linked to, so let's go look for that.
Y'all let me know when they get off this bike. Every time I see this bike, I want to throw up.
Alright. Oh, it's going to be a while. Most of this presentation is like riding around.
Well, y'all just let me know. I'm going to crochet and mind my business.
This looks amazing. One thing that's to the global scale.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we saw the bike in action.
I know.
Yeah, there were plenty of testies who went ahead and got this bike after this. The black and yellow one.
Yeah, I still have my black and yellow jacket. Oh, this is the year we had the yellow jacket outside. Oh, that was 2018. Sorry, that was 2018. But yeah, just 2 years out later in the U.S. in Austin, we had yellow jacket, 75% or three-quarter model scale.
Yeah, Griff put me on this bike, but it did not go well.
I have yet to fly that bike in a multi-crew role.
Yeah. I can see.
I mean, this is one of the things that the reason why a lot of people
That an
love this
actual
area.
sandstorm?
That sandstorm way up there in the front, absolutely.
Is that an actual
I mean,
sandstorm?
with thunder strikes coming from it.
Los Angeles. It's much better pilot than me. So you should give him your appreciation. Otherwise, you'd have me crashing into things.
Yeah, Scuba Steve, y'all were hot in that long line. I was sitting in front, minding my own business with my crew. I felt sorry for y'all. So sorry for y'all. Echo the show. Next year, you gotta be in line with me. You know.
Well, we have. I mean, there are some. This was one of the first time we've seen this type of mission, but there was a mission just like this at on Hurston, the one with the satellite, that allowed you to use the splicer or whatever it is.
Yeah, and if you see up there, that's the space station.
The cutter with the
And if
mining
you
tool.
look closer, you can actually see the rings slowly
Look at that.
rotate.
That's supposed to be. Is that
That is the
PO?
space station we flew
I was
past
like, is
on
that
the way
Port
down.
Olisar?
Okay, so if that's Port Olisar, why is Port Olisar above Lear?
Precision for positional space gives you. We're just gonna have
Okay.
Okay, it's a station. It's not Port O. It's just a station that's up
Okay.
So all
above.
this up close detail at this level. At,
Yeah, but it's still a good demonstration of, like, you know, you can see
Oh, yeah.
actual stuff in orbit from the planet.
And if you notice behind, there's like a small sliver of a moon
See,
off in the distance, which is pretty cool.
I swore I heard Chris Roberts say that was PO. Later on in the film, we'll get there.
Crash spaceship. Hopefully we'll find it.
I like this planet. It's one of the true planets so far that looks. The savannas actually look like a savanna. Desert areas.
The price is that you'll save $40. That's a fix.
Look at that tech right there.
Let me stop.
I mean, just look at that tech right there with the sandstorm. I haven't seen any game that even comes close.
That even attempts like to put a sandstorm in a game.
Sandstorms, hurricanes, various weather systems are all visually model onto the planets.
Yeah, I can understand why you're not watching this part. You don't want to watch this part because he's going all over the place. Not.
Right, he's like spinning left and right, and my head's like, whoa.
Yeah, I had this problem when people play FPS, but I'm fine when people are riding about the vehicle. Okay, he's off the vehicle now. And here comes the storm.
Look at that part right there.
Oh, there it is.
Dangerous out in the desert. Who knows? That looks like the Orpheus Horizon in the desert. But we're just gonna do it and go out there.
Oh, that lightning too! Wow.
That's why I was like, I don't know if any sandstorm that has a lightning. I guess unless it's an alien world.
Weird random space worm that's terrifying.
Oh, he's back on the face bite. That's not lightning, that's a worm sign.
I tell you, I mean, now that you have the weather tech in game, and I don't know if that was their weather tech, but if you ever get caught in that sandstorm, will you stay mobile? You know, will you get swept up? Will you die and respawn in PO?
It would be cool, like, if you didn't get swept up, but you just lost your visual references. You know what I mean? And you were truly lost in a sandstorm and had to figure your way out.
It'll be like a movie Twister. There are cows flying. I think that's the same cow. Hey, Gigi, she's flying.
Pop off here.
It's not lightning, it's worm signs.
Still about 200 meters away. And, check out how we're going. second.
Hey, Coffee Gaming.
It's like there's a
Hey there, Coffee.
sad nomad. So should we shoot him? Alright.
Oh, this is gonna be the melee takedown. Sorry about that.
Nice shot, man.
That was a good shot.
That was a good shot.
And that is what I'm good at. I can't do a whole lot, but I can shoot something and I can make sure it goes down.
You shoot
Wow.
Hmm?
What was that?
You shoot, I drive.
Right? I'm great for manning a turret.
Yeah, they say they're not having a virtual CitizenCon either, but I mean, we've still got a few months, so they may change their mind, but they haven't let us know what they'll have planned yet.
No promises, Coffee, but if you're nice, I'll think about it.
Coffee, don't be in her line of sight, you'll be fine.
And don't fly near me because I might hit you, but it would be on accident.
I wasn't going to say anything about that this time. Hey, here they go.
Oh, goodness.
You know what, fastcart? Okay, I don't need your sass. I don't need your sass.
No, but
Hurry up, man.
yeah, but that takedown was great. That's what I was alluding to earlier.
Let me look at, here we go.
He did try to buy shelter before the sandstorm hit.
Lost our way in. Right, let's see here. That's where the black box is.
Okay, this is the. Is this the Bengal or is this the Javelin?
I say Javelin. Okay.
Right. That's where the black box would be. So let's see if let's find a way out.
I mean, to me, all the picks look the same. I can't tell the difference between Idris and a Javelin sometimes. I know the name, but, you know, it's not something I have or want. Yeah, Scuba Steve said Javelin.
Put a little thing in. Our rover wall, and that's where we were the Connie up there, which is probably about 8 or 9 kilometers away.
GG, I think you want to watch this part.
Yeah, just basically tore the ship apart.
So I'm out here in the audience, sitting beside Miss Hart and Eating Star, the 1 million citizen. And so I'll tell it more when we get to the part. Oh, Dad Lando! Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Wow, look at this.
That looks so fun. I wish I could do that. Just riding out in a group.
There we go.
Woof!
Maybe that's not.
That reminds me of that movie Tremors.
Mm-hmm.
How about Doom?
Doom.
Okay, that's the first time it's ever done that.
Yeah, I would back
that
up
one
too.
animal from Men in Black, I think it was.
Hmm.
That was like eating an entire train.
That is a javelin.
Oh, but thanks for stopping by, Javelin. I'm sorry I didn't
Hearing
recognize your
that
name.
music makes me so happy.
Right. So yeah, I was sitting beside Miss Hart and eating Star and Bear's friend. When that sandworm came up, I told the story 100 times. Eating Star hated it when I said it. But when that sandworm came up, Eating Star jumped like a foot from off her feet, off her seat. But she said that she was reacting to something else and not the sandworm.
That was a demonstration of the
I
what we
mean,
can do with
this is the layer system, the layer system. That was on layer 3, because I'm definitely going to head towards that.
So,
I want to see what Chris says,
we're going
because
to, I'm going to hand it
is
over
that
to
PO or
Sean
different
Tracy,
station?
who's our technical content director, and Simon Vickers, who is a senior designer in Planet 42. And we're going to sort of open up the curtain a little bit. They're going to get in the editor, and they're going to sort of zip you around the planet we built for this, which will be a planet that will be in Star Citizen eventually. It's just not in the Stanton system. And so I can kind of show you some features behind it, and then there'll be a deeper dive done by the German office. So I'll hand you over shortly. And I have to say that that last thing was the first time I've ever seen it in any time we've done that playthrough, but that's live demos for you. So Sean, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Hey, everyone. How's it going? All right. So, yeah, you guys know I get excited about this stuff all the time. So they thought they'd put a mic in front of me, and actually, like, usually I write down bullet points of what to say. I actually have bullet points of what not to say. So that's going to be good stuff. So I wanted to show you some behind the scenes. They want to see your screen up there. Very good. All right. So what you're seeing in front of you, myself and Simon work in this every day. This is the Spacebox editor. This is what our developers use to build our systems, build the planets. Pretty much anything that goes in the game runs through the editor. So you might recognize Port Olisar, but what you probably haven't seen before is the planet that's sitting there underneath. So one of the big things that we had to do with the CryEngine, and I get asked this a lot of times, like, what did we change from the CryEngine? Did we just take that and start plopping models into it or whatnot? Not at all. The terrain system had to be completely rewritten. So one of the biggest things that it needed to support, of course, was spherical terrain, like you're seeing up there. One of the other things it had to do was go up to a planetary scale. Now, the CryEngine terrain system was actually really good in the first place, but it was designed for, you know, a flat 8-kilometer sort of area. And not a true planet. So one of the other things is all this stuff is runtime generation. So all of it is happening in real time right in front of you. You saw we had the frame counter up in the top right for the entire demo there. And that's something that you know, any engineer, any artist, anybody working on the demo can really be proud of, because that frame rates of that level are hard to get when you're trying to do content to this fidelity. So one of the other things that you saw was the seamless transition from space to first-person ground. I haven't seen any other project or any other game, to that matter, that has the sheer range of scale that we have. So when you get really up close on the first-person terrain, it looks like you're down on the train. It's not blotchy. It's not too big.
Copying it, but
you don't get all screwed up with the
on their
scale.
own. But this is one of the first games to have it.
All right, so the next thing is that there's no restriction to view distance. You saw this in the whole pull-through in the initial demo, but you'll see this here as Simon zooms around with the editor. And again, this is all happening real time. We thought it best to show how we actually build this stuff for you guys, so that you guys can have a little bit of faith that we're going to be able to fill
If you didn't
all
love
this
them, we
content
wouldn't
up
mess
for
with
you.
them.
So one of the things we like to do is just kind of show the scale, because the scale is really hard to wrap your mind around. Even as a designer, it can be very jarring when you go from just a centimeter level of precision all the way out to thousands and thousands of kilometers. So he plopped a character in there just to give you an idea of what you're actually looking at, because it can be easy to get sort of a God complex when you're looking at this kind of stuff. All right, so I think we're going to go find a little area here and do a little bit of work, because one of the biggest and most powerful pieces of the tools, and it's probably what we work on the hardest, is that it's artist guided, but it's procedurally generated. So the artist can still have this really fine-tuned control over the areas that they want, but we can do it on such a massive scale, and they can even go in afterwards and sort of tweak up the objects. So you'll see he's actually just creating more landscape. We actually use an ecosystem technology to do this. So I'm going to let Simon paint a little bit of terrain here. And this is pretty awesome. This is what we get to do every day. So it's really exciting to be able to work on this kind of technology. And it's even better to be able to stand in front of you guys in front of this kind of technology, because there's 360 other developers that are working on this stuff. So got to say that it's a massive, massive team effort. All right, so what he's actually doing is taking down different ecosystems. The ecosystem is kind of like a high-level visual representation of a classic level, of a classic game level, really. So the ecosystem defines things like the general terrain shape. So whether it's desert, whether it's mountains, whether it's ocean. It also defines some of the main feature terrains, things like erosion or valleys and trees. And you can see as he paints around, it changes all the ecosystem underneath. All right. Shall we find a nice little spot to build up on? So while Simon looks for a little spot here, just to let you know, the planets are made out of all these ecosystem tiles or chunks, and it's made out of thousands of these chunks, and we can modify them again on a really, really macro scale, so on a planetary scale, or on a very, very micro sort of scale. So the first thing he likes to drop down is always a little bit of a lake or a river. So of course we've got the water support that we wanted to, but we had to actually rewrite the whole ocean and water volume system in the CryEngine to be able to support, again, the spherical level terrain. And as you can see, the results are actually really, really good. It's no pressure on Simon at all. So what he's placing in now is one of these object containers. So again, we thought it'd be cool if we really just kind of pulled the curtains and showed you how we make this stuff. So an object container is how we actually classify a whole bunch of different objects. So it might be lights, it might be geometry, it might even be script. There's many different things that an object container can contain. And the whole point of object containers is really so that we have this powerful streaming system so that we can bring in an entire level worth of content and then bring it out. And even better, we can fly around levels of content, which is what the capital ships are really doing. So this is the tower we just saw in Homestead. We're going to set up a little location here. We'll put a couple objects down, and we'll do a little bit of exploring. So you see how quickly the designer actually controls the procedural distribution of the trees, grass, groups of objects. And this isn't restricted to vegetation, right? You can do this with rocks. You can do this with grass. You can do this with buildings, maybe, question mark? We'll get to that at some point, I'm sure. So one of the things I did promise my German counterparts is that we'd keep the tools off the screen because they really want to reveal this stuff. They've done a ton of work on these tools. So a lot of what you see, we get to showcase, the final results of this stuff, but there is so much work that actually goes into being able to bring you that, and a lot of those guys don't get enough credit. So really excited to be able to stand in front of this stuff for them. Woohoo!
Well, when Chris said we're going to walk, he means it.
So he's dressing up the scene a little bit. He's trying to make it a little bit nicer looking. We've got a special little prop here that Simon seems to like to drop in. You might recognize it. So we're creating a little home for this crab. I think he lives under the tower. Yeah. Maybe he's got a family.
That's the baby nightmare crab.
You know, I never knew the significance of that crab.
Oh, really?
No, I mean,
Yeah,
those are the same crabs that are in the
daddy
fish tank,
crab,
right?
you know. Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same
Now we're
crab
talking
that's in the Constellation commercial.
That's what I'm saying. In the little tank that if you got a Constellation,
So that gives you a really good idea.
You got a
of,
tank.
You know, this took what, maybe
And I believe I saw that
5-6
crab
minutes,
in the tank. I don't know.
and we were able to
Maybe
build
wrong.
up just a little section. Now, you know, this isn't
A
about
tank
to
and
ship
a
out to
crab-
you guys looking exactly like
Fish
this.
tank
But
in the Aquila or the
again, it
Phoenix,
shows.
you
Oh, I thought
When I purchased the
he was
Aquila set,
mad. We would ship
you
it,
got
Simon.
a fish tank, you got a
ship it.
cot,
You would all play it, I'm sure.
you got a drinking
So
station.
again, we need to be able to
Oh, you
create
got
this
a special
content super
package.
quickly, but
Right.
still have that artist
Oh,
input.
okay.
Because if you don't have that artist input, eventually you end up with very generic looks, and we can't give you these moments that we really are excited to share with you. So what do you think? Should we show that? All right, so the last little bit of this is kind of a fun bit. Is in a lot of game levels, the thing is that you're in a skybox. Like, what is so hard to wrap your head around is that that's not a skybox. That's actual atmosphere scattering that's happening. The sky is blue because the light scatters, right? So let's just kind of prove that to you. Those little sprites in the sky, they're not really sprites. Those are other planets. So let's see if we can explore one of those. One of the other cool things, anyways, just about our editor in general, you saw that while he's developing, he can actually just jump in and start actually playing the game directly from it. It's a super powerful tool. You
like
won't
10
iterate too much
minutes,
on
right?
stuff if you have to shut down, take 5 minutes to reload some other
you a wizard?
executable, then you come back to your editor. Being able to just minutely change thing after thing after thing and jump in and try it again and jump in and try it again and jump in and try it again. Gives you
I know what I wanted to
really
say.
polished
You
content.
hear the audio and like that.
So there's one reason I'm standing here
It was
talking
much
about it, and
better in
Simon's
the
fine.
theater.
He's a very, very good pilot, and I think we're about to showcase this, no pressure. So that's not a sprite. Let's go.
Oh, we can't do that in the game. No, we cannot. I wish we
All
could.
right. So a little bit of a different looking planet here.
Yeah. I was excited about that.
So
part
this
when I-
is
when I
kind of
first
showing
saw it.
off a little more of the exotic
would love that.
ecosystem that we can do, and we barely just
Oh, no,
scratched the surface.
we're gonna be able to jump planet from planet
The exotic
in
bits.
game?
These are
Take
sulfur
away some of
lakes.
this
This
terrible
place probably
flying.
just stinks. I mean, it's super
Took
hot.
that away.
The sunset, though, that you can see again with the atmosphere scattering, we get this for free. You know, not for free. I mean, somebody worked very, very hard on it, Carson Wenzel. But in terms of actually running in the game, when the sun comes down on the horizon, yeah, we're going to get that scattering. We get natural day-night
Just imagine
cycles
it
because
when
all the
Pyro
planets
finally
rotate.
comes into play.
So you see, they're
We
doing a
have
bit of
something
mining
like
here,
this
but
in either what,
Simon's
Aberdeen or Ariel?
he's brave.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And he's flying that ship though. He hasn't crashed it or anything yet.
Oh, he almost blacked out. We're all done. There's no pressure.
And now he's showing off.
Yeah, but he's gonna
But we
black
really
out in
wanted
a
to
minute if
show
he
you
don't get
again,
together.
without having too big a demo
You
put
almost
around
did,
it,
yeah.
we wanted to show you how we kind of, level design jazz, Simon called it earlier. Just something a little bit improv. And oh, what's this? That's somebody's finding information with us.
Yeah, everything else is in here. Just that one specific jump from that. No, it's not in. Great game.
That's awesome. Ah.
Mm-hmm. I like
So we're
that.
gonna go chase him down,
That's so
see where he
beautiful.
went.
I wish quantum jumping was that quick. But
And there it is, the Idris.
So it's an interesting ship there. All right. So we've given away way too much already. They want me to get off. I know it. I'm so sorry. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope you liked seeing how we actually build all this stuff for you.
You are not sorry, sir.
All right, so that was a little view behind the curtain.
Not sorry at all.
Sorry, not sorry.
You'll see a little later on when we show you the Squadron 42 polish level.
And this is
But anyway,
around this point is
so,
when I realized we haven't heard
I'd
much
also
about
like to
Squadron
point
42.
out
We
that
haven't gotten a demo
whole
from
sort
Squadron
of
42 yet.
Discover the Javelin Sandworm demo. I believe when we did Gamescom, we didn't have any of that. So that's how quickly, with the tools that have been built by the team in Frankfurt, that we were able to sort of put that together. Obviously, we had some of those assets, like the Javelin, although we had to wreck it and put it in the desert. But all the ecosystems, building that world out, that's just the beginning. The tools are built to iterate really quickly. So what we've been concentrating on is the technology to put in place to enable us to populate the universe of Star Citizen with incredibly high fidelity content. If someone's doing a drinking game, I guess you have to take a shot when I say fidelity. Fidelity. Everyone's gonna get drunk now. No, it's the 10. I mean,
it's no fun when he does it on purpose.
Because the gameplay potential now, because it's not just flying missions in space or even sort of wandering around an FPS on ships. I mean, there's a whole, not a whole world. There's whole worlds out there to go and explore and adventure and have different encounters on.
If you guys have a question
we're
for
going
us,
to use that in
Nightbot has
Squadron
it in the
42.
stream, so just go ahead and leave it
Star
and
Citizen is
answer
going to be a
it
large
at the
part
end of
of
the
it.
show.
You've just seen the tip of the iceberg. So if you see how our ships get better year after year and a bunch of our characters get better year after year, just imagine what the planets are going to look like in a year's time and everything else. But I have to say, the team that are building this is fantastic. So my hat's off to them, and my hat's off to you guys for enabling us to be able to do this. And now it's 4 years. It's happy birthday for us. 4 years on. Thank you. My lovely wife here, Sandy, better singer than me.
What? I'm not singing.
Oh, you're not singing? Well, you're not going to get we won't get taken off the internet now.
No, I'm not out here to sing. I'm out here to announce CitizenCon 2017 will be held in Frankfurt.
While they're bringing out,
so as soon as we have all the details, we will share them. And I'd like to give it up for all of the staff who have put in hours and hours and hours all around the world, all our 363 staff. And our volunteers, where are our volunteers? Okay, they're coming. Who's going to kick? Chris, are you going to kick off the singing?
What's that?
You're going to kick off the song?
I can't. My singing's awful. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Star Citizen. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, that's terrible.
He did say he's not a singer.
He did say that.
Hold up the cake a little bit so people can see it or no?
Oh, I have to cut the cake. Oh, all right, here we go. Just do it! I did it.
3 times, Chris.
All right, who wants to cut out other things? All right, I want to say thank you to everyone here. Thank you to everyone up on stage. Thank you to everyone watching out there.
I got some of that cake, too.
And I think now it's time to have some drinks and fun. All right, there you go.
I recognize many of these volunteers up there. I haven't seen them in ages. Missed those guys. And that's it. So what did you guys think? Start with GT. What are your impressions? You're muted.
Well, like I said, I am really glad that I was able to come in while y'all dealt with that. And I didn't have to go through that part. I was marveled by the sandstorm. Literally just blew my mind. I don't know that I expected that. It's crazy to watch it and be so, so entranced. And then you look up and you realize that this was 4 years ago. Like, wow, Star Citizen has gotten so much better since 4 years ago. And it already looks so cool. So I do get why you guys back the game so hard. Like, I understand because it's so fun and you're watching so much honest work go into something, and you're watching people who care very much about a project put everything that they have into it, and hopefully you're just going to come out with a game that's never been created before, something that no one's ever seen. And I feel like everybody wants to be a part of something that's brand new. Do you know what I mean? Something that is so transcendent as far as video games are concerned. I think it's going to be outstanding, and I'm just waiting for it.
Cool. So what did you think, Kelosal? What are your impressions?
I mean, I agree with Gigi, and it put things in several perspectives. And this is no diss on any games because every game is different. Elite Dangerous is doing now what Star Citizen has already done 4 years ago, and if not longer, which is that first person on an atmospheric flight and stuff like that. Elite Dangerous still doesn't even have it in. You're not going to have it in until early next year, and they got it up there right now as a promo for this is what they're going to do. Star Citizen has already had that in place. And that's looking at it today. Going back then in 2016, I mean, this conference, I think everybody can agree, or you can argue about it, that everybody was like, okay, it's not that much gameplay in this. It's more, a substance. It's trying to tell us what's going to happen and things like that and so forth and so forth. And then they came out with the clip. So looking at it then, I was like, okay, all right, got it. But for what they were able to do then and what they're able to continue to do now is transcending. It's amazing. I mean, Chris and his staff deserves a whole lot of accolades for this. And I'm not going to say if I would, but at this point in time, I would like to say when they get this off the ground in terms of in people's hands and things like that, I think the gaming community is going to reward him and his company mightily. This is a game that a lot of people have been waiting on their entire life, and those people who have been, saying negative things and dissing him for whatever motivation they have is unjustified at this point in time. Until the game comes out, even further, they'll be furthermore unjustified. But it's just amazing from where they were then 4 years ago to where they are now. I'm excited about the game. The game is a great game, even as you play it right now, even as you test it, because we're still testing the game. I want to be clear, we're still testing the game, trying to help them out and bring the game out. But it's a fantastic game. It's a phenomenal game. And the development from V2 to V4, now we're at V4 tech. That's quite astounding. We're at atmospheric flight now. We're at where the ships can basically move with the wind and the climate and things like that and so forth. So there's a lot of things that are in game right now.
Even worse.
Right. There are things that are in game right now that he promised even then, and still a lot more to come. It's just an amazing time for Star Citizen and its fans.
And how about you, Fastcart? You got some thoughts?
I was just about to speak on my thoughts. The presentation itself, it didn't occur to me until like late in the presentation that there wasn't much in the way of Squadron 42. They did have like the roadmaps and stuff for Squadron 42 and the goals, but I was expecting, many of us were expecting something more, like maybe a a video or some sort of presentation. But outside of that, that whole planet stuff, the whole the sandworm and everything, I was not expecting that. I was pleased by that, and that blew me away. The Sean Tracy presentation, that blew me away. And they addressed some of the issues about why they didn't have much in the way of Squadron 42. And it's called Star Citizen Road CitizenCon. I'm gonna put that into Twitch chat. And in that they discussed, like, it was a not last minute, but like a 10-day thing when they were gonna have too much Squadron 42, but stuff in there, but 10 days away, they decided not to and just pivot to what they shown. And I understand why they did it. And communication was key, because a lot of people were, I guess, upset is the right word, and they addressed that with the video. And I think that pleased or calmed down many of the people who had objections. But the CitizenCon itself, it was a hot day that day. People showed up, stayed in line for 3 hours. They let us in a little late. I forgot how late it was. But once we got in, and the camaraderie and everything, we were having fun in the line. We were having fun inside. Oh, been showing one of my pictures. Yes,
there it is.
That's Fayaste, Captain Richard, me, and at the beginning of the line. I showed up probably 2 hours before the door was supposed to open. Captain Richard and Fayaste showed up like 3 or 4 hours before, like at 9 a.m. It was supposed to open at 1 p.m. So, yes, I had my crew and everything with me, chatting and everything. So that was fun. But yes, I was there more for the community rather than what I was seeing. What I saw at the presentation was great and everything, but I just wanted to get out there and put faces to names, hang out, and have a good time, and I did that, and I'm happy about that.
Nice.
All right, so you want to take care of the survey now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take care of the survey. So the survey. Basically, remember, this is a survey about fastcart, and you were asked to choose one, which is not one of fastcart's titles. And the choices were The Grinding Beast, Fudge of Chocolate, Rider of Plays, or Black Jurassic. So
Still dying over that one, but okay.
Your choice was, which one is not one of fastcart's titles? The answer that you guys chose by an overwhelming 62.5% was the third option, which was the Rider of Plays. That was not one of fastcart's titles. I believe fastcart, your title is what? Writer of Scripts?
Writer of Scripts. Yes.
Yeah, Writer of Scripts.
Writer of Scripts came from, but we used to do a show called Postcards from the Horizon on the base radio, and it was supposed to be an improv show, but it was nice for me and Shiva Bathory. I was the one who wanted to write scripts and make it less about improv, and they were, no, you can't write that many, you can't write script, you can do a little bit, but not that much. So that's how I got that title. Black Jurassic, that was a fun one. That was on the Actor Pub captain table a few years back. We had a question at the end of the show. It was asking, what is your, I forget what is your porn name questions or something like that. It was like it was the color of your shirt and the first thing to your right. So the color of my shirt was black, like it is now, and I had Jurassic World Blu-ray in my hand because I just watched the movie like the night before. So my name became Black Jurassic World, but they just shortened it to Black Jurassic.
Wow.
Oh boy. Well, Soul Citizens, y'all heard it here. Y'all were correct about fastcart and all his many names. He is not the writer of, what was that? He's
Plays.
writing scripts, not the writer of plays.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate you guys interacting with our poll. We appreciate you guys watching our show. We have a great time with y'all every week.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to have a raid. I believe we're going to raid Captain Burke. So stick around for that. And I hope you enjoyed our episode. Hope everyone here enjoyed. Did you guys enjoy hanging out and watching this presentation?
Sure did.
It was great. I said one word, merchantman. Merchantman.
Kelosal on his ship, y'all.
Yeah, I do too. But I'm willing to wait. Oh, wait. Bring Hamilton back in it. I'm willing to wait for it.
All right, everybody. Peace, love, and soul. And we will see y'all next week on Sunday. Have a wonderful evening. And say hi to our raid for us, for Captain Burke.
Work.